Three-time All-Star Julius Randle goes to the Nets. I'm assuming he's going to be a little insulted by the fact that it was him and the 28th pick in the draft, and what Minnesota got back was the 33rd pick in the draft. So Minnesota said, let me send that contract over there and get 5 picks worse in tonight's draft just so I can get him the hell out of here. Three-time All-Star Julius Randle.
And he has to go back to New York after they won the championship on the team that traded him away for the player who had the hugest impact in that run. That has to hurt. He's just going to be in Brooklyn, looking over the water, looking at them celebrate all year long.
We know who won the trade finally, because it was like a question at the beginning. Do you trade, Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle's at a wash? They're kind of the same player. Who won?
He's had a weird career because by all accounts, Julius Randle's a really good player. Yeah. This is going to be like his 6th team.
Three-time All-Star. I was surprised when it came out of my mouth. I read it, and then I said it, and I still didn't believe it as I said it. I wanted to say to myself, you're lying. Dan, you're lying, because he's not that good a player. He's an inefficient player. He's somebody who's very good at 18-foot jumpers when they need people who are good at 30-foot jumpers. The whole game changed around him. He used to be a good player. My God, would he have been good in the 50s? In the 50s, like Bob Cousy wouldn't have known what to do with all of that.
I mean, to be fair, in like the early 2000s, he would have been really good too.
Yeah, but in the 50s, he would have been amazing.
Dan, you would have been good in the 50s. What are we talking about?
There was that one year where New York was trying to tell us he's better than Chris Bosh. You remember that?
It is a weird career for Julius Randle. It's not just that he bounced around. I'm going to say it again. You guys are shocked by three-time All-Star. Are you not? Are you not? Do you not find that shocking, three-time All-Star Julius Randle?
I don't. He's a super talented player. And I think the challenge for a player like Julius Randle is that he's not as flexible and versatile. He's the type of guy that to get the best out of him, you kind of have to build a roster around him. But he's not good enough to go very far.
Well, he's not good enough to build a roster around.
That's
They chose him over Nickeil Alexander-Walker, too, when they were doing the math of, all right, we're pressed against the cap, we're pressed against the second apron. Like, what are we going to do? Let's keep Julius Randle instead of.
He's afflicted with sort of the same thing. I look at him a little bit like I would look at Aaron Gordon, where if he's your best player, you got a problem. If he's your second best player, you got a problem. If he's your third best player, you got a problem. But if he's your fourth best player, you might be okay.
Was he not the fourth best player on the Minnesota Timberwolves?
On the Lakers, he might have been the fourth best player as well. If he's your fifth best player, if he's your sixth best player, if he's your seventh best player,
that's not fair. Aaron Gordon's really good at defense.
They chose Ayo Dosunmu over him.
Mike Ryan, Jonathan Zaslow, Greg Cody, Roy Bellamy, Jeremy Tache, Tony Colariu, Chris Cody, Dan Le Batard.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mic's up, cue.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show.
Cool, but the lower high is Cajoling,
Dan, you heard about the Tartan army. This is the Cuban army.
The Greek army. It's got to be the Greek. We need it to be a Greek
Well,
army.
yeah, we'll change that.
Yeah. What is the word for ocho? Calle ocho. What is the word in Greek for ocho?
You think I had that right off the dome, or?
So I want to talk about everything here because it's extra special because you did it to Boston. And I got to think that a couple of draft picks got thrown in at the end because you got to do it to Boston. This is the most aggressive all-or-nothing move Pat Riley has ever made in a career filled with them, because it's the equivalent of 7 first-round picks is what it is, because you traded you gave them your roster, and you said, take whatever you want that isn't Bam. And they did, because it's not just the first-round picks. It's all of your young players. You've gone from a young core to an old core overnight. And in 2030, when some of those other picks come through, Milwaukee's betting Giannis is going to get hurt and those picks are going to be really good and that the Heat are going to be bad for 10 years. Like, it is the riskiest thing, even though he's getting a whale, that Pat Riley has ever done, and it's aggressively desperate.
They have a unique front court now that is, you think of Giannis, you want someone next to him who can stretch the floor. Bam is incredible. Let's start with the positive. The defense is going to be nuts. No one's going to be able to score in the paint on those two guys. They both can switch. Like, that's a good starting point.
And they're going to be able to score in the paint. They haven't been able to do that for 10 years. Giannis does that by himself. They're terrible in the restricted area for 10 years. Giannis changes that.
I'm excited to see what Spo does around this and what offense he builds around this. They don't have a ton of flexibility in order to bring in other stars. Like, it looks like it's going to be Powell and Wiggins if they cooperate. They may not even cooperate. So you're looking at Portis, Bam, and Giannis.
Davion Mitchell, and not a lot else. They're going to have to go get shooting, but this is them betting on themselves. They say, we'll find Gabe Vincent, we'll find Max Strus, we will find Duncan Robinson, we will make shooters, and they will have it made easier for them by this guy playing, if he indeed does play, because he's not injured. But it's aggressive. It's what they gave up is more than they wanted to give up. That is not... Boston getting in the mix to drive up the offer, drove up the offer. Boston getting in the mix and offering Jaylen Brown, I assure you, Pat Riley enjoys causing that problem in that locker room.
Oh, that's such a nice secondary pleasure to this. I mean, look, the goal is you get Giannis, you get the guy, you got the best player in the trade. That's obviously the most important part. But the secondary part, when you sit back and realize, all right, at some point this afternoon, Jaylen Brown's hopping on Twitch, and he's asking for a trade, all right? And that is especially pleasing.
Should we have a countdown? Like, there should be like a countdown clock until Jaylen Brown does or says something, because he's not just going to sit there quietly and accept this trade. He's gonna, you're right. We got a Twitch stream coming, and it's going to be the best.
Can we just thank Jaylen Brown for being so unlikable the last month? I feel like this might not work out for the Heat. If he's the same guy we thought he was 3 months ago, it's just such a clearly better player that they're getting to start over with. I just feel like him being the way he was the last month definitely helped the Heat win this trade.
I don't agree with that, because the Heat's offer, now that it went through, like, the Heat's offer was so much better than Boston's. Because and just factor in the idea that, how do you know that Jaylen Brown wasn't going to be Giannis 2.0? He's not better than Giannis, and the team stunk this year with Giannis. And if Giannis, who has all the ties in the world to Milwaukee, became disgruntled with the losing, Jaylen Brown's just going to be like, this is awesome going from Boston to being shitty.
Bill Simmons did an emergency podcast to say the Heat are not contenders, which makes you know they are. And he said, this is a quote, I'm just going to say I would be absolutely shocked if Hugo is thrown into any Giannis trade offer. The entire organization is all in on him. Stevens probably the most. They could not be higher on him. I genuinely don't believe he's involved. If the Celtics chose to not get Giannis because of Hugo Gonzalez and his rookie season of 4 points a game and 3 rebounds a game, and chose to upset Jaylen Brown because they didn't want to throw Hugo Gonzalez in there, it seems foolhardy. All of that said, this could be the Milwaukee trade for Damian Lillard. It could be a disaster because this is a star at the age when these things start breaking down before the league started breaking its players. Like, this is exactly the age where players drop precipitously. This is an all-in move for next year. Like, it's going to be for multiple years, but you're betting right now that the Heat organization can build something around Giannis Antetokounmpo that at the moment doesn't have nearly enough shooting. If you think Orlando was bad at shooting threes when they traded 4 ones for Desmond Bane and didn't get that much better at threes, the Heat are banking on Spo and Giannis are going to make it so that anyone in the world who plays basketball will get wide open shots from 3.
So, first of all, I won't stand for the Baylor Shireman erasure. He was also a player that the Celtics refused to trade in order to get this done. And also, it sounds like you want to disagree with Bill Simmons, but you just agreed with him. Like, you said they still need a bunch of stuff. Like, he's saying they aren't a contender right this very second. They aren't. And they don't have a ton of flexibility.
Oh, but this is the thing, though. I believe that this front office and this coach can build around one of the top 5 most talented players in franchise history. We will have an assortment of basketball-related guests. Mike Breen can't do it because he's got an emergency today, but he does pass along helpfully, and he said to make sure to use this, Antetokounmpo, the longest name in Heat history, on the back of a jersey.
Oh,
so,
nice,
yes, very
nice.
helpful.
It's like a
Mike
rainbow
Breen.
because it has to go all the way around.
That always bothers me. Like when I was a kid and I'm going to buy a jersey, you want it to look good, obviously. I would never have considered buying the jersey where the name is like a rainbow. I don't think it looks good if you're going to rock the jersey.
Would you want smaller letters, or would you like a dash and then underneath? Like,
No,
how do
we
you
want it
solve
straight
that?
across.
Yeah, it's got to
I
be
know, but I'm saying it doesn't
across.
fit.
Give me
Make the-
smaller font,
Yeah,
straight
fine.
across.
Okay.
I also never liked if the first initial was on the jersey. Like, I was very pleased yesterday, Dan, when I saw the Panthers are printing out Brady Kachuk jerseys, but it's just Kachuk. It's not B. Kachuk. I like that. I don't want to rock the jersey with the first initial. The same way I don't want the rainbow name on my jersey.
Did anyone else get excited when Dan said Mike Breen passes along? I thought he was just passing along bangs. Like, oh, you guys got Giannis, so just pass to the group. A bang!
He should do that. Like, I mean, he should be able to send the bang.
Rent a bang?
Send it on over. Hey, you guys are having a great day today. You got Giannis. I send you a bang!
Would this have been a double bang?
Nah, it's a single bang. Winning the offseason's a single bang. But I think that you should be able to request a bang, and Mike Breen can determine whether he's giving you one or not. So when good things happen for you, you call up Mike Breen, send him a text like, hey, let me give you all the facts. We got Giannis, but we gave up a bunch of this.
You're right.
Can we get a bang? Can we get a bang? And he's like, no bang.
The Miami Heat absolutely did win the championship of today. Today, the Miami Heat win the championship of Tuesday. Congratulations to the Miami Heat.
We don't know yet because the NBA draft's tonight, Dan. Anything can happen in the NBA draft, so you can't really give that to the Heat yet at 12 o'clock tonight.
I feel like I
We'll
can,
see.
though. I feel like I can. I feel like you think there's something. You think that there is anything that will happen during the NBA draft that will create the amount of conversation that this creates? Anything. Anything. LeBron moving, LeBron being traded.
Yeah.
No, I don't think LeBron moving does what this Giannis thing does. I think LeBron moving is like, it's something that we were anticipating, and I don't think it changes the balance of power the way Giannis does. What could happen is like the Thunder package up all their picks and move up to get one of those top guys. Then you guys might have given up a 3-1 lead for a Tuesday title.
What if tonight the Heat trade for the number 1 overall pick?
Oh, God.
What are you talking
Just
about?
make stuff up?
What are you?
Just anything?
How? With
They win
what?
the title,
They don't
though, then.
have anything.
Hold on a second.
They don't. You did that already. I heard it the first time. It was a tiny little miniature explosion. It was like somebody throwing a rock in a pool. It wasn't like a mushroom cloud.
Does that suggest that the brain that exploded is small, or the thing that took place is small? Because it's like a little.
Yeah.
It was the brain farting. Is what it seemed like. It wasn't the brain exploding. It was a very small brain pooping out a rabbit pellet of sound.
So tonight, we still have our 13th pick, technically, but it's going to Milwaukee. I say
What a stupid rule.
we do a little funny business and pick the guy they don't want us to pick. Boom! 13th pick. You still get him. We still get Giannis.
A betrayal?
Burn! Gotcha!
But everything goes through July 5th. Like when I was talking to Heat people last night, they were all like,
Burn!
I will not be happy till July 5th. I will not be happy. There will be no happiness here until July 5th.
No, I swear they told us to pick him. That's what they
You're
told
not
us
listening
to
to
pick.
me. I got your thing.
Yeah.
You're
You
just not
understand?
listening to me.
This is a house of cards, Chris. It can fall apart at any moment. We can't do that.
We have sent Jeremy out, intrepid reporter. He was with the Tartan Army yesterday at Marlins Park, where they're getting 20,000 people a game, and that army of people is drinking beer. I haven't gone to you yet. I haven't introduced you yet. I haven't said that what you're doing yet. I haven't. All right, fade him down. I don't want to go to him anymore. Get out of there. Please just go away from him.
Was he doing a Tartan
He
Army
does
song?
whatever he wants. He just doesn't listen, doesn't do what he's supposed to do. He just does whatever he wants.
I also noticed he doesn't want to get next to the Wade statue, which is a thing for him. Like I'll get up right on the Wade statue. I don't care.
Why don't
He's
you
a
go
little
over there and replace him?
Oh, look at him. He's feeling all right. Okay, he's getting close to the Wade statue. Now we're talking.
The who statue?
The Dwayne Wade statue.
Nah. I know. I mean, I know you know him better than I know him, but I know Dwayne Wade, and I don't look like Dwayne Wade.
No, that looks like Michael Chiklis. It doesn't look like Dwayne Wade. It looks like the guy who started in the Shield and in the commish.
Can I tell you? It's funny that you say that. I'm watching Winning Time right now, the story of the Lakers on HBO Max, and Michael Chiklis is Red Auerbach. He's a great Red Auerbach.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing up Winning Time because it allows me to revisit a Pat Riley quote. Dominique, I don't know if you remember this, but throughout Winning Time, which was done by Adam McKay, Jeff Pearlman's book, yes, that's what the Dwayne Wade statue looks like. Michael Chiklis,
you nailed it.
right there. Thank you. Winning Time, the dramatic reenactment of the Showtime Lakers.
Docudrama.
Thank you. In that show, you had Pat Riley just saying bleep Boston over and over again in that show because his hatred for Boston runs deep. I have told you guys before that when Pat Riley is in a room with Larry Bird or Michael Jordan, he still can't speak to them because of the scars they left. Like, he doesn't want to speak to them. So years ago, when they were playing Boston and Danny Ainge was the general manager of Boston, Pat Riley did something. He hasn't done this before or since. I've never seen a team do this. He sent out a team spokesman to say the following here. I'm going to quote. This is Pat Riley, but Pat Riley's words, you never heard Pat Riley say this. A soldier was sent out and told, say this to the assembled media about Danny Ainge. And the quote is, Danny Ainge needs to shut the bleep up. It wasn't a bleep, obviously, and manage his own team. I can't imagine how Tim Donovan felt going out as the vice president of the Heat and using the F word that way as a company spokesman. Danny Ainge needs to shut the bleep up and manage his own team. He was the biggest whiner going when he was playing, and I know that because I coached against him. Pat Riley did have to give up more here than he wanted to give up. We weren't talking about Jaquez being involved in this deal. And when I say to you guys, it's 7 first-round picks, you don't disagree with that, right? You understand that it's all their recent drafts. They basically went from a team that Pat Riley coached for the first, I'm going to say 20 years here, where it was all Dan Marleys and old people. They didn't develop anybody until Dwayne Wade. Nobody. Like, it was all old guys everywhere. Nothing got developed around here. And then they developed all of those young guys to be not good enough. And now they trade all of them for the guy who's an immortal, who's unquestionably an immortal, because the hardest thing to do is develop an immortal. Milwaukee developed this one for you, and now you steal him with 7 first-round picks.
And Bobby Portis.
Yeah, don't forget.
He's a dog.
Eyes are crazy.
He can shoot.
He's a switchable defender.
It's an old team now. It immediately becomes an old team. Goes from a young team that wasn't good enough to an old team playing for right now, for this minute. Throw the balls out there right now because you don't want anyone to get hurt before they're 32.
The age is interesting to me because everything I read about like Pat Riley's history, and of course this is Spo's team, and it's not Pat Riley like over his shoulder coaching it, but the intensity of the Heat, or at least the perceived intensity of like Heat practices and generally how they are about their players is something that sounds like it does not mesh. The more you say old, even the players like Norman Powell, if they're able to get him to re-sign for a smaller number, then he's also a guy who's older and injury plagued. It seems like if we look at the finals in recent years, how it's so many different teams, the depth, a small injury here or there in the playoffs has cost so many teams their chances. The depth has seemed to be important. And I don't want to rain on today's championship. But if I were to consider how this may not be perfect, is you are creating a very thin, fragile little championship contender that can be a little bit risky.
What do you mean you don't want to rain on the parade? That's all you've been doing for 22 minutes. What are you talking about?
I have been.
You started with they're not contenders. Now it's like, oh, if they get hurt, something. Yeah, of course. That's the NBA.
There are ways to rain on it, though, because the point he just made, the team that won the championship last year was the healthiest one because OKC fell apart and that De'Aaron Fox injury killed the Spurs, just crushed them. The fact that he wasn't himself.
That's all I'm saying, guys. Let's just do some. I don't want to say that this is
but
gonna
it's
happen.
fair. It's fair.
I'm just saying. Let's temper our excitement and joy and expectations.
On the day that the Heat signed one of the biggest players in franchise history, you want us to temper expectations?
You're right.
What are you even talking about?
Break out the cocaine.
Thank
My bad.
you.
Apologies.
There are reasons, to marvel at the all or nothing of this. If he stays healthy, they're a contender. Like, that's not up for debate. It's just not. So Milwaukee gets Tyler Hero, but this player, when they built around him with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, with no one as good as Bam, when it was Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton's going to be available for the minimum again. They've got an assortment of Bruce Browns out there and a bunch of people that they now have their centerpiece on what it is that they built back when it was LeBron, Wade, Bosch, and nothing but minimum salaries. It was Mike Miller, Udonis Haslem, and then everything else was, a bunch of centers who couldn't catch the ball because everything was flawed after that. The idea is you make yourself relevant enough with a superstar that he brings you the players. Come play in Miami with me, shooter. Guy who's a shooter who thinks that all his life he hasn't quite gotten the chances that he needs to get. Here's a guy who's always at the rim, feeds at the rim. The Heat have been bottom 10 in the league for about a decade at the rim. Like, since LeBron left, guys, I don't know if you know these numbers, but they're horrific. Like, when you look at some of the things with the Miami Heat that have happened since LeBron James left, like, they've got a 50-win season in the 12 seasons since LeBron. 1 50-win season, okay? In the playoffs since 2023, they're 1-7, and they're minus 22.2 points. They're not close. They haven't been close in any way. So now what you do is you restructure the whole thing. But Dominique's not wrong when he says the foundation is built on a fault line. If something happens to Giannis, they're done again.
I think one of the challenging things about analyzing these sports is it feels like they change so quickly these days in a way that they haven't before. And I think what you're explaining, Dan, is Miami's always been an attractive destination for players to come. The reason why you may not have been able to get those like ancillary like others, as Charles Barkley would call them, is because you didn't have the singular foundational centerpiece, and now you got that centerpiece. But the problem with it is the new CBA has made it so much more difficult to bring guys in and to go over the cap that it's still going to be harder to build. It's going to be harder to build this team. There was a time where the hardest thing you had to do was get that one piece, and then you go ahead and pay the tax. You'll go ahead and go into the double tax. You'll keep paying that money because it's worth it. But now you can get hard capped if you do the wrong thing. And I think it's much more difficult to bring guys in that are willing to play for under the minimum.
Dan, every NBA
no one can
team
play under the minimum.
Under the minimum. Damn.
He got caught up in the air. It's okay. Play on for me.
I crashed on that.
Every team in the NBA is built on a fault line, right? We just saw Oklahoma City. We thought they were going to win 80 games last season or this season that just passed, and then they got hurt, and then they got beat by a team that was a year ahead, and then now that team got to the finals and they lost.
But hold on, OKC's young. Look, Tony, I understand everyone getting real excited about this. The Miami Heat are maybe the only team in the league that has 2 top 25 players on its roster, but it's all they have at the moment. And so I understand anyone saying that this one's dangerous, not because of what happened to OKC. Their young guys got hurt. Their second and third ball handler got hurt. If Giannis gets hurt, you're not allowed to be surprised. You're not, he's more likely to get hurt than the average person given the amount of mileage on that body. This is not a young player anymore. It just simply isn't. It's more probable that he gets hurt than another player getting hurt because of what his last season was like.
I just want to add a small piece of context that while Giannis only appeared in 36 games last year, the rest of his career, he's missed 20 games once. Yeah. Like that. Okay, maybe he's at a point in his career now where he's going to be injury prone, but like one time he missed 20 games.
Zaz, when you were 20, how many times did you wake up and just not feel great?
I get it. Like
Okay.
maybe this is the tipping point.
Not maybe. I mean, not maybe. It's going to be harder to stay healthy for him at this point. Like, that's a fact. That's what happens with age. And I think the point that Dan made is a little bit a little disingenuous in saying this is the only team with 2 top 25 players because they aren't complementary players necessarily. They're 2 really awesome players. And anytime you've had Giannis next to a big or anytime you've had any lineups with 2 bigs that were successful, I think they're going to be great on defense. One of those bigs was a really good shooter. You think about Lopez and Giannis. One of them has to be – you think about when Minnesota had Cat out there. Like, he had to be a good shooter in order to be complimentary of Gobert. Like, that's the concerning part about this is you have 2 really awesome guys who are really good at similar things, and shooting has been one of the defining traits of modern basketball.
But I disagree.
And you don't got a ton of it.
I disagree that they don't complement each other, though, because Bam now plays more from the perimeter, and Giannis is going to take up all the stuff in the paint because Big Dog eats first. Let's go back out, though, to Jeremy. He is surrounded by wild enthusiasm outside of the arena as the Miami Heat have won Tuesday. They have won the championship of Tuesday, maybe. We'll decide in about, well, for the next 12 hours, the Miami Heat are the champions
Tuesday morning?
of today. Jeremy, what is the scene out there near the Michael Chiklis statue?
I mean, the scene is wild, Dan. We've got 4 fans out here who are out here just soaking it all in, celebrating what is obviously an already great team. I mean, what you guys are talking about is shocking to me because you talk about youth being this important thing to not get hurt. The young Thunder didn't win the NBA Finals. Why? Because they got hurt. Jalen Williams, with no miles on his body, got hurt. A.J. Mitchell got hurt. Every team, as Tony said, is built on a fault line. But when we talk about this team as presently constructed and why it's
What's that
it's
sound?
You guys say,
was that a train screeching?
That's a crane, I think. I think it's a crane. There's construction happening.
They're raising the banner, the Tuesday morning
yonder.
championship banner?
Hey, they should be raising the banner because you guys talk about a team here where you say shooting is not a part of it. That's a fallacy. Bobby Portis last year shot 46%. Andrew Wiggins, who was once the 2nd best player on a championship team, now the 4th best player on this Heat roster, shot a career high 42% from 3 last year. Davion Mitchell shot nearly 40%. Norman Powell, if he comes back, was an all-star with the lowest 3-point shooting percentage he's had in the last 5 years. That still itself was 38%. Pella Larson shot a career high from 3, and this is all with a Heat offense that wasn't built around Giannis Antetokounmpo working from the inside out. You guys are talking about a team like it's not constructed well. They still have a $15 million MLE. They still have a $5.6 million exception. They have a $5.6 million trade exception. There's so much more room to add with a roster that is already built well around
Did
these
you just
two big
say
men.
career high for
Pella
Pelle Larson? Pelle Larson?
32%, yes.
Yeah, well, but
Yes, I did.
Last year was the first time he played.
Dan. I'm hyping things up. It wasn't the first time he played. It was his 2nd time he played. He was a 2nd-year player. Pella Larson is, what really excited me is I watched Bill Simmons say that the Heat are not a title contender, and he named the 6 guys on the team, and he didn't include Pella Larson, and I cannot wait until Pella Larson goes into Boston in the postseason and drops 22, 6, and 4, and then Bill Simmons
All right,
learns who
sure,
Pella
turn
Larson
him
is.
down again.
He's one
Just
of the-
turn it. Thank
one of
you.
the
We'll
best
come
role
back to him
players
later, maybe. Agreeing with Tony while making the point
Smart
that
people
the
usually do.
Thunder people have gotten hurt. The young guys getting hurt is a surprise. If Giannis gets hurt, no one will be surprised. Just like, am I wrong about that? If not only will everyone in the NBA celebrate if Giannis gets hurt, everyone will be unsurprised because the only criticism that you can have of acquiring Giannis is that he might get hurt. There's no other criticism available to you. That's the one. The only reason you wouldn't trade for Giannis is because you're afraid he'll get hurt. It is the single reason. There are no others.
My question is, how much of the hurt that he was last year was posturing for him to get traded, and how much was him actually being hurt and not being able to play?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you could make a fair assertion that he would have played more if he was playing for a contender. I'm not arguing that last year is predictive. I'm arguing that every other year in the history of human existence is predictive, that guys get older and things are harder. Their bodies are more likely to break down. This is not a criticism of Giannis in particular. It's just looking at how the league has operated in the last several years.
It's a criticism of God.
It's not a criticism.
You're criticizing God?
I appreciate
Be careful, Dan.
breaking down, because then you can value the things when you're here and you enjoy them. Yeah, I'm criticizing him. That's all right. He can.
I mean,
you know who can handle it?
Thick skin.
Yeah, pretty thick skin.
God builds things the way Apple does. They break down with age quickly so he can create more of them.
Quickly is relative.
I mean,
It takes 80-something years, 90 years.
no,
It's
it
not
happens at look. It's happening at it happens at 30.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't happen. It
Hey,
doesn't.
I got to get plugged into the charger a lot more often and for a lot longer than I did when I was younger.
You're a great player, though.
Thank you.
Let's go back out to Jeremy, who now is surrounded by just a huge fandom all around the Heat's arena, where he is caught up with a couple of people who are clearly here for the World Cup. I don't mean to racially profile here, but they are
he
not
was on a
basketball
Fiorentina
fans.
jersey, so.
Jeremy, what kind of emotion do you have out there with your fans, stragglers, and loiterers that you've picked up?
I noticed the jubilance on the face of my new friends Francisco and Eric. They flew here from Guatemala just to celebrate the acquisition of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, Francisco, Eric, how excited are you about this move?
We're super excited. Giannis, it's awesome.
Giannis is awesome. What do you think, Eric?
Giannis has a champ mentally.
Yes, he does have a championship mentality.
Yes,
And guys,
yes.
What I want to know is, are you planning to just stay here in Miami until the season starts?
Yes, obviously.
Yes.
All right, and do you think the Miami Heat are going to win the championship?
Yes, they're gonna win. They're the best.
With him, the team can win.
See?
I mean, guys,
See?
it's
He's right.
obvious.
Yes.
The energy around this arena
Yes.
is unbelievable.
I can't believe it.
Francisco, Eric, I couldn't
Yes.
be more excited to be here with you guys.
Yes, excellent
Dan,
work,
back to
Jeremy.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, Eric had a couple things there that were locked in. Championship mentality. Also, can they win? They can.
I felt like a hostage situation.
They can, which is not something we could say 12 hours ago.
Exactly right.
12 hours ago, they could not. 12 hours ago, in the form that they were in, it seemed more likely that Bam would no longer be here and would be frustrated because they needed to get a player better than Bam, and those are a little bit hard to come by.
Can we go back to Jeremy, please?
We can. We will go back to Jeremy in just a moment because Jeremy is surrounded by a great deal of Miami Heat fandom everywhere you look. And so we will be going out to Jeremy in just a second as he continues to gather stragglers and hitchhikers and loiterers and whoever else is out there next to the Michael Chiklis statue. Let's go back out to Jeremy. Clearly some Heat fans are here.
He's Miami Heat's man. He's better than Zidane. We've got Super Giannis.
Oh, we've got Giannis.
Yes.
We've got
Okay.
Super Giannis.
Thank you. Good
These guys
interview.
couldn't be more excited.
Yes.
They couldn't be more excited, Dan. The Tartan Army is ready for a Heat championship.
Go on, Giannis. Go on. You've got this, boy.
Excellent work there. Our streets are filled with these people, and the amount of littering they are doing outside of my home is staggering. There were extra garbage people sent in. These people drank Boston dry. I'm not making that up. The people bartenders in Boston are being quoted in the local publication saying it is 3 times more drinking than St. Patrick's Day, and that's Boston. They are literally drinking bars dry, and what they're doing at the bar on my street is not only drinking it dry. They are singing songs all night in a way that's making my lovely angel of a wife saying she wants to start throwing things down there because they're so loud and singing songs.
Different songs?
Yes, all different
Good
songs.
set.
But all bad songs. All of them terrible songs. All of them uncommonly loud. But they have no respect for America's litter rules. Like, they really do believe.
Dad, you got to stop, man. You got to stop. Like, it's just the most washed complaint ever. Like, there's too many gunshots in my neighborhood. That's one thing. It's too many fights.
A lot of
There's
days.
a lot of stealing. Like, no. He's like, it's so much litter. It's just so,
I mean,
you know how many trash men are in my streets now?
The beach is not a trash can, Dominique. It's really disrespectful what these people are doing to our streets.
The only point I'm making is your complaints, while they feel really serious to you, it doesn't. For most of us, it's like, oh, okay, it's a little bit more trash. Like, you're talking about it like it's some sort of locust epidemic. It's not. It's a couple more beer bottles on South Beach where there are always beer bottles and dead bodies. Relax. You don't want to be in the nonsense? Then maybe you don't live in South Beach.
You're saying that they have no respect for our litter laws. Do you think they're allowed to litter in Scotland? Maybe they are. I don't know.
They must be. They must be, given what it is that I'm seeing in the streets.
The fine for littering is $1,500 for the first offense. $1,500.
Yeah, not there.
Man.
Not to them.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know that the fine for littering was $1,500 for a first offense? I did not know that.
And Miami Beach.
I got some info here. AI is telling me, no, you cannot litter in Scotland.
Thank you. Good work. Let's
trust
go.
AI.
Let's go back out to Jeremy and the Michael Chiklis statue. Let's see what Jeremy has found there. Clearly, people are just going totally crazy. Jeremy, who do you have out there?
Okay, who's your friend?
I'm here with my new friend, Kareen.
Not that
And
one.
Kareen had her family fly here from Brazil.
Family?
Just to be here. Yes, her family. To fly here just to be here from Brazil to celebrate just how exciting this Giannis trade is. Kareen, how excited are you about the Giannis trade?
We are super excited.
Do you think that the Heat are now going to win the championship?
Of course, we are the champions.
Yeah!
Of Tuesday. Of Tuesday. She knows already.
Yes, thank you. Champions of Tuesday. Thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy, you've never had a better day. Your efficiency is extraordinary. I appreciate that you're out there hustling. I would appreciate if Dominique leered at people just slightly less.
Man, that cheetah print. Don't want something for me with the tats, too? All right.
That's my gimmick.
Seemed like a good time. Sorry, Zaz. My bad. I'll get out the way. You
The
can.
report. $1,500 for an initial offense on littering sounds aggressive and is more than I would have ever considered. Are you sure we have that right?
This is Miami Beach, FL.gov. This is the government site. So, yes.
So you've got the security guards on the segways on Miami Beach stopping at Tartan Army who are throwing cigarette butts and beer bottles at them.
The point that I'm trying to make is simply that the amount of garbage people who are now in the streets cleaning up the bagpipe debauchery that these people are leaving behind.
I just imagine that you could find a better way to illustrate the complaint. Saying we got a lot more people picking up trash. Like, I don't feel like you're being overrun or in trouble by, like, we can't sleep at night because they're singing all different songs. Like, that's different. Can you imagine the number of people picking up trash in the streets? It's like it's South Beach, Dan. It's always a lot of trash in the streets.
Not exactly. Like, when you have those kinds of legislations, you tell me if you think that $1,500 fines. The streets are not dirty on South Beach. It is our most trafficked commercial tourist area. It is kept clean, and they spend a lot of money to keep it clean because it's the place where visitors get their impressions of Miami.
I get it, Dan, but it just sounds like you're just washed and elitist. It's like the thing that you're complaining about doesn't feel worth complaining about. I got to step over a bottle?
Yeah, it seems like you guys over on South Beach are going to have more garbage people than Little Havana's going to have. I feel like they're going to have less garbage people.
For sure. That's why I pay the taxes that I do. Do you realize that when Memorial Day got closed down in a racist offense that had not just too much police, but also they put an air and sea show there so they knew the military would be around too, and so that they eliminated black people partying on that strip of land because they called a state of emergency. DeSantis made a state of emergency and a curfew when some black people were seen having sex on the street south of 5th. South of 5th, which is the rich area. It's not the area where I live. South of 5th, as soon as anything trickles over there, the National Guard is called in. Air and sea shows are called in. Look, our military, really loud and strong, really big, ran off everybody. And all they do now is litter.
The Heat got Antetokounmpo because the Celtics wouldn't trade some guy named Hugo.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow. Are you turned on?
Do you like
Dangling.
breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many, many times.
A little pelvic thrust situation. I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked.
Intimate.
Dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humps.
You never know.
I've been dry humps.
Many,
Naked man.
many, many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like one, like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's the No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
No.
But I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's A Few
That's
Good
the one I
Men,
bought.
and that's A Few Good Men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth. I
You can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
That's it's a different movie. Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think he won an Oscar for this.
Yes. Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
No! It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in Dolphins.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino movie. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because
A Few Good Men.
you already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And you're not man enough to handle the truth.
Right. Okay.
Classic line.
It's got a military theme to it. I just can't come up with a name.
It's not a military theme, but I think he's a former military guy.
Okay,
And-
He was a colonel.
There you go. Colonel Sanders. I don't know. I'm never going to get it. I don't know movies.
Wow, it's his only Academy Award.
The
Greg doesn't know
scent
movies.
of a
Woman. See? I told you I was going to get it.
Your son had no idea where that sound
Where I
was
get it
from.
from.
This is
really?
2 generations of idiot. Pop
No.
culture idiot.
I knew it was Al Pacino.
Greg, you cannot listen
said
to
De
what you
Niro.
just did for the last 4 minutes and say that that is some sort of expertise
Okay,
that you're bragging about.
First of all, I speak for moviegoers in general. Al Pacino and De Niro are always interchangeable. They're always mistaken for each other. They're the same person. They've
De
had
Niro
the
could not
same
have been the devil.
career. They've won the same awards. They're like the same people.
They were only in one scene together, like in their movie careers.
I know, but they're parallel lives. And you know it.
Put it on the poll. Do you often confuse De Niro and Pacino, and you know it? At Le
And you
Batard
know it.
Show.
You're going to have to wait for that one.
Exactly.
That was staggering.
Bucks and Phoenix Suns opened up the NBA Finals last night with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
The NBA player Giannis Antetokounmpo caught my eye.
Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Milwaukee star Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We are going to have an assortment of people on today to talk about this trade. You cannot say that the Bucks won the trade because the team that wins the trade is always the team that gets the best player. However, the Bucks did play this correctly and squeezed the Heat for about 3 things that the Heat did not want to give up. Like the Miami Heat paid max value for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they wouldn't have 4 or 5 months ago. And they had to pay max value because it is clear now that the details are rolling in that basically the roster was pushed over to them, and they said, no, I don't want Davion Mitchell. We'll take what we want here, and you'll take Bobby Portis, and you'll get Antetokounmpo. But this is absolutely more than the Heat wanted to give up, and the Boston Celtics getting involved drove the price up on the Miami Heat.
Yeah, the Bucks played it well after playing it really poorly. Like, they should have traded him last offseason. This whole wasted year, I think Giannis's value went down, and they still got a bunch for him, but I think it's less than – this is why you probably feel good, even though they handed over the roster, or this Miami fans feel good, even though they handed over the roster. This is less than I think we would have thought Giannis was worth last season before he had this particular season. And a lot of people who might have been in the hunt for him, and pulled out. So I think the way that things happened for him, it worked out well for both teams, but I don't feel particularly great for the Bucks' future. I think the one team that's walked out of this trade that feels like they have had like a real chance, obviously, immediately is the Heat. The Bucks in the future, they're hoping to get lucky in the draft with these picks.
But they got younger. Do you think, Zaz, do you think that Dominique has that right? Because I don't know if there's a way to play any of this well. Once the superstar is disgruntled, I haven't seen a whole lot of examples of people handling a right way to handle any of that. Do you think he's right, though, that a year ago, Giannis, before last year's disastrous season, Giannis would have gotten you more than this? Because this is, whether you like Tyler Hero as a one-time All-Star or not, this is a lot of young players, and it is 7 first-round picks worth of draft capital.
Yes, I think they waited a year too long, but everyone waits a year too long. Like, the Heat waited a year too long with Jimmy Butler. So it's really hard to pull the trigger on this kind of player when, even if you know it's going to help you rebuild, before the player makes a mess of it, to wind up having, the balls to make that move. But they did make the right move in not trading him at the trade deadline and then waiting till the summer, because it did net them at least the 13th overall pick. So in that sense, Milwaukee did a great job. I thought Milwaukee got a haul. I really do. I think they got a haul, and this has been my biggest beef with the Miami Heat over these last few years when it comes to not being able to land the big player in trade, is this team has not been willing to give up enough where it hurts, even though you're getting the best player in the trade. The Heat have been stubborn, and they have not wanted to allow the move to hurt. This hurts a little bit. They gave up everything, and that's what's necessary to get a superstar player.
You know what that means. A guest has arrived. Jorge Sedano is here. Very disappointed that he's not wearing a robe. I thought every appearance from now on would be with him wearing a robe. He begins with a disappointment, but give us your analysis, Jorge, on what it is that you've seen happen here over the last 12 hours.
That'd be really weird if my Uber showed up to take me to the airport and I would still be in the robe when I walked into the Uber. That would be funny. Look, the reality is you never give up, quote unquote, too much for a superstar, okay, of this caliber. One who has a championship pedigree, one who clearly wants more titles and is still in his prime. Yes, I understand the issues with games played. I would imagine, much like when Shaquille O'Neal arrived in Miami, he will be extra motivated to play as many games as humanly possible and show the rest of the world that he's still one of the top 5 players on the planet.
There's not a caring problem with this human being. Like, you're not going to get somebody's weak effort. Like, this is going to be the most motivated him that you're getting.
Oh, I don't think there's any question, right? Because he's been written off in a lot of ways. I mean, for Christ's sake, and, Dan, you and I love Wilbon, but, like, he's going out there saying, like, what's Giannis? Like, who's Giannis? Like, I'm over Giannis or whatever it is he's saying. I'm paraphrasing now, but it's like, what are we talking about here? Like, this guy legitimately has been in the MVP conversation outside of last year because of games played. I guess what, the last 7 years?
Top 4 the last 7 years. Top 4 MVP voting the last 7 years before last.
Right. So, I mean, this guy is at the pinnacle of where you want to be in the sport, and he's had some bad injury luck. I will say this. He seemed fine to me running on the pitch the other day playing soccer, wherever the hell he was during the UEFA Champions League. So I think he's going to be fine. To your point, yes, he's going to be incredibly motivated. And here's the other thing. The Heat have a history of building this thing out for their superstars. It may not happen in year one where they win a championship, but they will build a good enough team to potentially get to the finals, okay? And potentially get out of the Eastern Conference. And much like we saw with LeBron, right? I think that maybe year 2 is the year they win the championship. The window for this team is if I had to say, the next 4 to 5 years with Giannis. And then, in theory, you would see a decline. I don't know if you will, right? We've seen a lot of athletes.
George,
defy
that's
stuff.
optimistic. I think it's the next 2 or 3 years. Like to expect him to be at 35, 36, and 37 is to trust that science has just totally rearranged the aging process, which maybe it has, but I don't. You're going way out on this. Like the reason I say this is the most all or nothing move of Pat Riley's career is if he gets hurt, it's really going to hurt in 2030 and 2033 when they're giving up those draft picks because they're not going to be very good.
Yeah, but I think with the way the lottery works now, if this is the way we continue to do it after the next 3 years, then I think that actually aids them a little bit. Yeah, I would disagree with you. I think that 3 is the floor, and I would say 5 is the ceiling on this particular move. I don't know if you'll get to 5, to your point. We can kind of meet in the middle and say 4, I think. He'll be 32 in December. But I don't see him slowing down. I mean, I think that, to your point, bigger, stronger, faster. You've been saying that for 20 plus years. And I think that will continue to be the case, including with the help of modern training and medicine and things of that nature. And by the way, that's not to say that he doesn't continue to add to his game as he gets older. I mean, I've seen him hit shots, in the mid-range in ways I had never seen him hit shots like that in previous years. He actually had a good season, I feel like, from the mid-range last year. Is he ever going to be, a good shooter? No, but Dwayne Wade was never a great shooter. Their job is to surround him with good teammates, and I think they're going to be able to do that in short order to some extent. And then I think somewhere over the next offseason or so, they'll be able to create what is a team that can be sustainable for at least another 2 or 3.
Yeah, the Giannis shooting, I think, is like a complementary thing. Like, he's never going to dominate in the way that he has in the past or any other way other than the explosive athleticism. But I think more interesting than what happens for Giannis 5 years from now is the moves that can be made immediately. I think we all would agree that their chances to win are in the short term. Have you given any thought to the moves that seem realistic under this second apron era that this team could make to make themselves a contender right now, this year and next year?
Yeah, look, I'm with you on that. I don't think, this is not a build for the long term. We're all in agreement there. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I just trust this organization to do what they've always done. I mean, for God's sake, they went to the finals twice with Jimmy Butler and 6 guys who played in the G League for decent stretches of their career. And we haven't even talked about Eric Spoelstra yet. Eric Spoelstra is still, in my opinion, the best coach in the NBA. Now, I will say this. Coaching has gotten a lot better, okay? I think the margin of where Spo was the best coach to who the second best coach has shrunk tremendously. I think that there are a lot of coaches that you can put in a similar category now with Eric Spoelstra. But to me, he's still the guy who does the most with the least. And I think that will have to be something that they'll have to do a little bit of this year in this transition year to get them to where they want to be, which is back in the finals. I think it's possible. New York is still going to be a team to contend with, clearly. They're going to be able to bring back their starting 5. We'll see what Boston looks like after all of this. But at the end of the day, the hardest thing to get is the superstar, and a top 5 superstar at that. You've got one of those. The rest of the build can work itself out this offseason and perhaps next.
A very disappointing appearance by Jorge Sedano because he was not wearing his robe, and he promised us just robe appearances for the rest of time. We'll see how we handle that punitively. Thank you, Jorge. We will talk to you soon.
One last thing, Dan. I spoke to your dad on Father's Day, and his commentary to me about the finals was, Wemby le hace falta unas croquetas.
I mean, he could use some breaded fried stuff in order to gain some weight. Thank you, Jorge. Appreciate the time. Dominic, I want to ask you something as we talk about what decline looks like, because for some reason, and this is always interesting to me, okay? We just tend to ignore defense. And Giannis was Defensive Player of the Year in 2019-2020. He had been on the all-defensive first team 4 years in a row, and he hasn't made any the past 4 seasons. So when people say that last year was his best year, well, offensively, statistically, he was pretty good while missing games. But that's how the slowing stops. The Lakers are a bad defensive team. I actually got worried about the Lakers getting in this game because there is no team in the sport more helped by Khalil Ware than the Lakers would have been. And they were interested in Khalil Ware. They're bad defensively. And they're bad defensively because LeBron can't play defense anymore because he's 41. And the decline, usually you can't see it. It's not easy to see, but that's where you'll see it. You'll see it on the defensive end if you're looking there. But most people are never looking there.
Yeah, I think there's tons of different ways to get anything done on the basketball court in any sport, honestly. But the easiest way to do just about anything is be bigger, faster, stronger, more explosive. When those things start to decline, that's when you got to figure out some other ways to impact the game. And I think that's what we're talking about. That's why Sedano and I and probably you have different prospects for what's going to happen when in this, or how big this Giannis window is, in large part because that physical decline is going to hurt his defense, and that physical decline is going to hurt his offense. It may be imperceptible at first. It may not show up immediately in the stat sheet, but it's going to show up somewhere, and you need to support it.
Well, what they've done, though, and this is not a small thing, okay, because I will tell you that the Atlantas of the world and the Sacramentos of the world, they go a long time without having what I'm about to say. What the Miami Heat just did, which is a hard thing to do, is they are now relevant again. You can discuss anything else here in the trade that you want. The Bucks are not. The Bucks traded for a haul, not relevant. The Miami Heat just got the entire league's attention, including New York's, because they are now a defensive team because Bam will carry that side. Bam has never had a defensive player next to him with this particular resume. It's not happened. Like, Davion Mitchell is an unbelievable perimeter defender. Like, he is really good. And while they have trouble shooting right now with the roster that's presently in front of you, Giannis will make that easier in a league that has gone towards shooting because of how much easier he makes the sport, because I'm going to say it for the third time in the show. The Heat have been bottom 10 in the league for a decade at the rim. Like, no matter what we're doing on the three-point shot and the way the sport's changing, the one that's the most efficient shot is the one at the rim. And this guy makes every roster around him top 5 in the league at the rim, and that's all him. It ain't Drew Holiday. It ain't Chris Middleton. It ain't Bobby Portis. It's all him, top 5 in the league at the rim. And now what you get, you're not just recruiting with, we got Miami for you, we've got all of the tax benefits for you of Florida. Hey, shooters, you want wide open shots for the next 2 years? You think wherever it is you've been, that you've been undervalued because you can't get your shots off? There are going to be plenty of them now in Miami.
And you want defensive protection, you get blown by, that's all right. We got 2 guys at the rim that not very many people want to challenge. You don't want to have to go over top of screens all the time. We got 2 guys that are comfortable with the switch onto just about anybody in the NBA. So, like, I do think it's an easier sell, but the hard part is with the new rules, we're not going to be able to pay. Like, you just can't. You can't go over the cap. You can use some of the exemptions if you get cooperation from Powell and Wiggins. You get some cooperation from them. Then you can go over the cap.
You won't. Powell's gone.
Yeah. So
why do you say that?
Because he's not taking a huge discount. He won't. Why would he? He's just coming off his first All-Star season. He's not going to do that.
But he doesn't have to take a huge discount. Like, they have his bird rights, and they could pay him. I mean, they're not going to pay him anything crazy, but, like, they could pay him if they want to pay him.
Right. If you the bird rights, then you're going to be increasing your spend, and it's going to make it harder. You're going to need Wiggins to opt out and then sign a deal that's smaller. Like, you're going to need some cooperation.
This is from Windhorst just now, and Windhorst will be joining us later in the show. They're going to lose their all-star Norman Powell unless he takes a crazy discount. He's going to be gone.
But to Dominique's point, like, if Wiggins can opt out and then he can go for a longer deal that's shorter money up front, they can presumably work something to keep Norman Powell. Plus, on top of that, Dan, do you know the greatest shooter of all time is available? Luke Kennard.
They know, we don't, they know already whether Norman Powell is going to stay or going to go. You do not make all of these moves. They know. We might not know, but rest assured that they already know, and they've gone to Norman Powell, and they have their answer on whether that's still going to be here or not. I wouldn't assume it will be.
One thing that hasn't changed as much as the NBA has changed, and as important as shooting is, it feels like you still need a wing player to be able to close out games. I think the Spurs didn't really have that. They might end up having it in Harper, but all these championship teams, we saw even the Nuggets, when they were making runs, their best teams had Jamal Murray. You're going to need a wing player to be able to close out games. Do you believe that Norman Powell is that guy?
Well, you are so right on this because Whittingham, one of his worst takes ever on a resume with many bad takes is that Giannis is forever a number 2. He's not a number 1 because he can't close out games, because he needed Chris Middleton to close out some of those games. It's a good point.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Not that they should get Middleton now necessarily.
No, he's going to be here.
But that was always the thing. Giannis is Milwaukee's best player, but Middleton was the closer. So I do think you're right. If they're going to lose a guy like Powell, they do need someone who can create shots. Doesn't have to be a star,
right?
But you do need someone who can create some shots for you on the wing late in games.
Part of this with Powell, by the way, is this trade is still ongoing until July 6th. Like, the framework is there, but you could see Hero end up elsewhere. And now is the time that more and more teams are going to try to get in on this. So, theoretically, Norman Powell could also be a sign-and trade candidate. Whether it ends up being here or not, the Heat using that contract to land other pieces for this, if it's not him, is not just a possibility, it's a probability at this point.
It's actually a really interesting point that Jeremy makes there, because normally when you have this kind of deal, and yes, okay, so the deal's out there, and because it's not official yet, so we're in like a moratorium, there's a few days and other teams can latch on and the deal can expand. But usually during that period of time, okay, dudes are agreeing to deals here and deals here and deals here, and you may lose out on guys. Because the timing of this, the draft hasn't even happened yet. So there's still a week until the free agency actually begins. So there really is a lot of time for the Heat to make other moves.
How do you guys feel about what's happened the last few days when it comes to reporting and people getting it wrong, and this being different, it seems like, in basketball than it is anywhere else? Before we get to that question, can you just play for me the sound of Whittingham during the finals that ended up with Giannis appearing to have a career-ending injury and then holding up the trophy at the end when we all thought he was going to be gone for 10 years, and then he wins the championship by coming back in a couple of days, and they had a problem closing because Giannis was their closer.
It's kind of turned out in these playoffs, Giannis is probably the NBA's best number 2, because I think it's kind of been determined that he can't be your 1. And like in terms of his specific skill set and the areas of the game in which he struggles, you can't rely upon him to get baskets at the end.
He then, of course, went on to great fame all over the place.
In another
one of
sport.
the great young broadcasters
for a reason
of all time.
In another sport is a good
as
point.
He dominates the Premier League and World Cup coverage, because he quickly lasted about 3 months here, said he would not want the career of Jim Gray. It was beneath him, and then set about proving it by starting his career at the very top of the mountain.
Does he have bad soccer takes too, or is that just basketball?
He's very good on soccer takes. But Zaz, what are your thoughts on what it is that I was just saying? I know that you're down in general on NBA reporting. There was a lot of stuff here that was wrong.
I thought NBA reporters embarrassed themselves over the last week. Just a total embarrassment. I said a few days ago, I think people are making things up, because the day and age that we live in with social media and all the information out there, you have like the super credible people like Shams Charania. Notice when Shams finally decided to poke his head yesterday was the day that everything was happening, okay? But you got the credible people like Shams Charania, Brian Windhorst, Ramona Shelburn, even guys like Gary Washburn. A lot of them were wrong. I don't think they were making things up. But I do think there's other people out there who are like, all right, I got to come up with some kind of info. I got to show my employer I'm valuable. I better throw something out there. I better get a source from something to give some kind of intel. And as a result, no one knew anything. How many times did we hear this is going to be a huge multi-team trade? How many times did we hear Tyler Hero, he's going to Detroit. Duncan Robinson's coming back to the Heat. How about this latest one that took place yesterday where the owner in Milwaukee wants Jaylen Brown. The GM wants the Heat's deal. And then today it became, no. The owner wanted the Heat's deal, and that's why it got done. No one knows shit. And then last night, you had Chris Haynes. I'm sorry to throw his name out there, but look, you went on front of a camera and a microphone, so it is what it is. And Chris Haynes got out there at the last hour and said, Boston, they're the favorites right now. Giannis, Miami isn't even his top choice to go to. What are we doing?
Dominique, why doesn't this happen in the other sports? Why do we not get this bad information in baseball and football and hockey?
I mean, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I could venture like a theory. I'd say that this is all about like horse trading or favor trading and power and influence. And I think the NBA is one of the leagues, it's probably the only league where there's so much more power outside of the front office. So like in the NFL, the players and the agents have less power and influence when it comes to the information sharers and the reporters than I think in the NBA. So ultimately, what you are doing as an information broker or a reporter is you are trading information. When you know something, you might tell a team, and that team then tells you, and they tell you that they want this information out there. So you give out that information in order to stay in their good graces. I think in the NFL, it's like GMs and front office personnel are the people who you're trading with. You have to keep them happy so your information comes from a consistent source. I think in the NBA, because the players have so much power and influence, and their agents by proxy do, that the information people are like, all right, well, this guy told me that. In order for me to keep getting information from this agent, I have to share the story that he wants. In order for me to keep getting information from this front office, I have to share the story that they're giving me. So I don't believe that they're lying, or they believe that the information they're getting is true because the people that they're talking to have given them a bunch of real, legitimate information. I think the same thing is happening in football. It's just we don't get the competing information nearly as much. You get one way, this is a story, because we get surprises in football, but they're last-second surprises. I think what is uncomfortable about this now for you is that you get them competing with each other. Like, there's a surprise today, a surprise tomorrow. So football reporters get lied to also. We just believe the lie all the way up until the last second, and then we interpret it as, damn, that changed on them real quick, when that's not necessarily what happened. In this, it's like, all right, that's a lie, this is a lie, that's a lie, this is a lie, that's a lie, this is a lie. And you follow the roller coaster in a way that you don't in the other sports.
What seemed obvious to me is that Boston did not want out there, and so was speaking privately, that Jaylen Brown was available, and then at the end they couldn't keep it quiet anymore. How should Jaylen Brown feel this morning?
Pissed. I mean, how should he feel and how does he feel? I said jokingly earlier that we should have a countdown until he has a Twitch stream where he says something explosive. Like, I could understand. We went through some of this yesterday, that it's impossible to disentangle your emotional reaction from the business of the sport. We all know that it's a possibility that you could get shopped, and it still hurts. I was traded, not nearly as good a player or as impactful a player for a team. It still kind of hurt my feelings. It worked out for me in the long run, but it's still kind of like, oh, damn. All those pregame speeches, we're all a family. We're all working together. Yeah, what happened?
You don't believe what Richard Jefferson says, that Jaylen Brown should take it as a compliment that he's in the conversation with this particular player?
Absolutely not. It's not.
He should, but he won't. No. I think that's the answer. He should, but he won't. You're telling Dan, how is there not like a big-time sponsor that calls up Jaylen Brown today? It's like, yo, we're going to sponsor your Twitch stream this afternoon. If he goes on Twitch this afternoon, that's getting millions of views, right? How is this not an opportunity for Jaylen Brown to make a ton of money?
Call him up.
We should sponsor his live today.
I got five on it.
Brought to you by the Dan Le Batard Show.
Let's go ahead and make that negotiation. You know what that means, of course. That means that the alarms have been sounded for our information guy, Amin Hassan. Amin, what are your thoughts on what has transpired here, please?
Who came up with that imaging?
That wasn't the question I asked you. Just keep it moving. Thanks for arriving and offering nothing, but just keep it moving. Thank you.
The interesting thing when I'm hearing a lot of people react to this is, oh, what are they going to do about shooting? What are you talking about? They just did the deal. They have like 7 guys under contract. Yeah, this is the part where a front office gets its work done, and they got to go out there and find the diamonds in the rough, the value deals as far as role players. Guess what Miami's been really good at for 20 years, 25 years? Finding role players. This is what they do. The hard part for them has been landing the whale, and they finally got their whale.
What are your thoughts on, for example, some of the criticisms from Dominique or the questions from Dominique about the fit of these two players, Bam and Giannis?
Again, they just did the deal. You guys are acting like, okay, that's the roster that's going to be on opening night. No, they got to go find guys that fit. Eric Spoelstra, we all agree, he's one of the best coaches. He knows his work is cut out for him. You're going to have a lot of big-to-big actions as far as, Bam or Giannis handling and then the other one screening, some lobs over the top. There are things you can do, a lot of DHO actions. But at the end of the day, we can't really say anything because we don't know who the other guys on the floor are going to be. And until you tell me who those names are, you can't say this fit works or doesn't work.
I mean, why, I was just talking about this with Dan and Dominique. Why is the media so wrong about this over the last week?
Wrong how?
Multi-team trade. Hero's going to Detroit. Robinson's coming back to the Heat. The owner wants this. Boston's the favorite. Giannis doesn't even want to go to Miami.
Not involved.
Right. So favorite, you should automatically throw that out of your lexicon because that's just an opinion. Who's a favorite? A favorite according to whom? According to the Bucks. If it were, then they would have done that deal. So anytime someone tells me that's the favorite or whatever, you're just handicapping the odds based on what you're hearing. But when you talk about, I thought these guys were going to go in a multiple team trade, Jeremy actually said it earlier. The deal doesn't get done until July 6th. The reason why that is because there are going to be more teams that get their name in there because Milwaukee may not look at the guys that they got and say, yeah, I really don't have a place for Tyler Hero, who's up for an extension soon. I really don't have a place for Jaime Jaquez, who's up for an extension soon, but someone else might. These guys are clearly, good NBA players who can help good winning teams. So if I can get more picks, if I can sit back and say, hey, what'd you get for Giannis? Well, I got 3 from Miami and a swap, and then I got 2 more for Tyler Hero and 1 for Hawk. So you sit back and say, I traded Giannis for 6 or 7 picks. That sounds a lot better. But again, we have a long time here between today and July 6th for other teams to get involved in this and for this deal to get bigger.
A reminder that the Miami Heat made the finals with Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and Caleb Martin. The hard thing to do is to get the player better than Jimmy Butler, which is what they just did. They got the player better than Jimmy Butler. Outside of injury, go ahead.
Dan, and to piggyback what you just said there, all 3 of those guys were guys that anybody could have had. Gabe Vincent was in the G League. Max Strus was in the G League. Caleb Martin literally came in like in late August to come just play pickup with the hopes that maybe he'll impress the brass and they'll give him a camp invite. So, and like you said, hey, there were people who were saying that Caleb Martin should have been conference finals MVP that year. So if there's any organization in the world that you could say, wait, where are you guys going to get the rest of the role players from? And you say, I wouldn't worry about it. It's Miami because they're good at finding these guys, developing these guys, and putting these guys in a position to be successful.
Outside of injury, how does this fail for Miami?
Well, I mean, again, if they struggle to find enough shooting, right? I'm not going to say that, they signed 1 shooter, now they're fine. You're going to need multiple shooters out there. That's going to be an issue. Playmaking, I think, is going to be an issue. A big question you got to ask yourself is what's going to happen with Wiggins and Powell. Wiggins has a player option. Now, the hope is he opts out, signs a longer deal for lower money. That gives you a little bit more breathing room to work with Powell. But if they can't re-sign Powell, then you have to start working the phones hard on the sign and trade because, again, there aren't too many teams with cap space out there for the type of money that Norm Powell is looking for. So he's got to land somewhere with sign and trade. And if that's the case, can we get assets back? And most of the time we think about assets as, can I get picks back or whatever? But in this case, the Heat are probably looking for a player back or players who can come help them.
I mean, Bobby Portis, do you think it was more about Milwaukee saying, here, take this guy, we don't want to pay him anymore, or the Heat wanted him?
No, I think he's a good player. I mean, if you need a backup big, he's a pretty good backup big. He could play alongside Bam or Giannis, either or, because has an ability to space the floor. He's a tough, hard-nosed guy. Look, if you talk about Miami Heat culture, I think Bobby Portis, a nasty kind of I don't make friends out there type of dude, fits in perfectly there. And his contract's not that bad. I think he has one more year, and then after that it starts getting real flexible. So for Milwaukee, I think the biggest thing for them are the picks. They got into a lottery pick, another lottery pick here in this 2026 draft, and then you got 2 picks that are far enough in the future that anything can happen. And remember, when you acquire another team's picks, basically you're betting, hey, I bet by the time you have to give me this, you're going to be awful. And that's what they did.
I mean, when you look at the Eastern Conference, you look at the major players. Obviously, the NBA champion sits in the Eastern Conference now. I know the roster isn't done yet, but how does this team stack up against elite teams in the Eastern Conference?
Well, they have an advantage, Stoney. They're great interior defense on day one. We know that. They're probably going to be great perimeter defense because those guys are 2 of the very best as far as bigs being able to guard out in space. But as you probably could tell, like, hey, how did the Knicks beat the Spurs? They had like 9 or 10 dudes that could come in and play. And again, let's talk about some of these guys. They had Landry Shamet was a guy that was signed on the last day of the year. Jose Alvarado was acquired for a very low kind of stakes. Jordan Clarkson was a buyout and came in for minimum. Those guys all played a role in New York's success this season and this playoffs and indeed in these finals. So those guys are out there. But the point is, the Knicks did it with depth more than anything. They didn't really have.
You know what that means. Amin is gone. Ernie Johnson replaces him. That is obvious.
Amin, that is very rude. That's not my call. Sorry, Amin.
EJ, I give you a ton of respect. If it was anyone else, if it was Jorge Sedano, I would have been upset. But it's you, so no problem.
I mean,
I was just, it just happened. I was watching it just like you. I apologize.
I mean, just move over to the side for a second. We'll come back to you in a second. I just want to get Ernie Johnson in here real quick just to get his thoughts as a face and voice for the NBA. Thank you, as always, Ernie, for making time for us. Your thoughts here on what happened overnight, my friend.
In regard to what?
Julius Randle being traded to the Knicks.
No, you know what? I go back to hearing Pat Riley speaking late in the season about, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here and still got work to do. So it doesn't surprise me that he would make a splash like this, or at least try to make a splash and make an acquisition like this. And so, I'm intrigued. I mean, I love, see Giannis down there with Spo, with Bam Adebayo, that's going to be a fun mix to watch. And I don't, people are always, well, does it elevate them to favorite status? I don't know if it elevates them to favorite status, but I do say, if you've been sleeping at all on Giannis because of the injuries and because of the dumpster fire that was going on in Milwaukee this year, he's still got plenty.
According to DraftKings, they've gone from 30-1 odds to 18-1 odds. They've gone from 9th to 5th in terms of betting favorites. What do you think are the fair criticisms, Ernie, of this trade from either side?
I don't know what the fair criticisms are. I mean, it's again, if you're going to make a move like this, you have to give up some players. So, okay, you're going to give up Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, picks, etc. But that's the only way you get anything done. I mean, if you want to basically stand pat and be careful and say, oh, no, we could never give that up, look, you got to take a swing at it. I mean, that's one of the things, and this is going to seem like a bizarre comp, but like we honored Ted Turner this year. We lost Ted, who was a guy who just took a swing all the time. The metrics may have said one thing, but in his gut, he said, you know what, this is the move I need to make. And that can pay off. And so knowing that Pat Riley is still in this and wants to be a difference maker, doesn't surprise me at all that he'd say whatever we got to get. whatever we got to give, we have to get this and to make ourselves relevant and not be the perennial, hey, we're in the play-in for the 4th straight year. That ain't sitting well with him.
You are a basketball historian. You can put the proper perspective on this. I believe the Miami Heat have
That's a lot of pressure. What are you talking about?
I believe the Miami Heat have just gotten a player, talented skill set, one of the top 4 talents and skill sets in the franchise's entire history. Can you put into context? I think he's one of the top 50 players of all time. Top 4 in MVP voting 7 years before this last one. What did the Miami Heat just get?
They've got that rarest of of beings in the NBA, and that is a megastar. There are all-stars, there are superstars, there are megastars, and in my book, that's what Giannis is. And again, we've seen what he can do. We've seen him take a team to a championship, and I just think at the age of 31, there's still a lot of great basketball in the guy. So I look forward to seeing how it all plays out down there. And again, as I joined you just before you were so rudely ushering Amin off the show, look, it requires more than this guy. The difference to me in this year's finals was one team had a closer and one team did not. And not only did they have a closer, they had a unit, they had pieces that all fit together. So let's see what else goes around this. But on its surface right now, you're going to have to play if you're going to go against that starting 5 right now.
Off the top of your head, Ernie, and it's sort of putting you on the spot because you have to know everybody's rosters here, but name the teams that you believe have 2 better players at the top of their roster than Giannis and Bam.
Well, I don't know. Do you go Luka and LeBron?
That's the closest I'd come, just off of the top of my head.
SGA and Jaylen Williams are really good when Jaylen is healthy. But, for what they do on the floor, for what Bam and Giannis are capable of doing.
Brown, Tatum, Jokic, Jamal Murray.
Yeah. There are some great tandems there. And everybody, you talk about having a big 3 and blah, blah, blah. Look, I think New York just demonstrated to us that you don't have to have the megastar to win. Jalen Brunson's a great player. Karl Anthony Towns is very good. But it's not like having that kind of star power guarantees it. And so, no, again, it's a great piece to have. It's a wonderful combo to have under a great coach. I can't wait to see what it means for him.
Ernie, thank you for making the time for us. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Does Ernie Johnson still live in black and white? Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry about that. What the heck is the deal with my feed?
You look like you're joining us from
kind of
Pleasantville.
Surveillance video. Good night. I got to work on that, man. I'm sorry. It's grainy. It's black. It's sepia. How did I do this? I got to go to my settings. I apologize. I feel great shame.
He got into Tacumbo cause he wants to play with Captain Adebayo.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's a good look for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that Randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary also.
I don't like... This isn't... Again, I might need a mean here. This isn't K-Fab. K-Fabe?
K-Fabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
K-Fabe, wrestling nerd here at your service.
This isn't...
Zaz could have helped
Thanks,
there.
Mike Ryan. This isn't K-Fabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers.
That was super rude and disrespectful what we did to Amin, and we will not do it again. Let's play for Amin, though, the sound from Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons and his crew did an emergency pod to state that the Miami Heat are not contenders. And so here they were last night reacting to the news immediately.
Is Giannis on a better team now than he was yesterday? I don't think so.
I would say Bam's a better teammate. Maybe the front office is a little more motivated, but I don't think this team's a title contender. Do you?
This is going to test 2 of Miami's kind of like big myths of self-belief that they have, which is A, we're an attractive destination for top-tier talent to come.
Not untrue.
And B, we trust our development so much that we can turn coal into diamonds wherever we look. And they're really going to have to dig now because they need to find 4 more guys. Like, this might be a playoff team in the East, but this is not a title team.
Amin?
He said the myths of Miami and that they can turn coal into diamonds. And I would just say, okay, who else has a track record? When you say Duncan Robinson and Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, okay, those guys are recent. But what about Ike Austin? What about Vashawn Leonard? What about James Johnson and Hassan Whiteside? And you go throughout all the way to the beginning of his tenure. One thing they do really well is finding the guy that anyone could have had. That's the moral of the story, is that any one of these 29 other teams could have had them, and some, in fact, did have them and didn't do anything with them, but we did, right? That's what Miami front office hangs its hat on, and I don't think that's in question. What Bill is saying is technically accurate. If this is the roster, all 7 or 8 guys under contract, yeah, they can't contend for a title. They can't even compete in an NBA game because they don't have enough filled roster spots. But we know that the work is still yet to be done. There are more trades to be done. There are more signings to be done. There's more digging for coal lumps to turn into diamonds, to use Chris's analogy. And so you can be technical and say, today are they a contender? And say no, and I would agree, they're not today. But the idea is, A, how can we build this thing out? And B, and this is a big one, when you guys acquired Jimmy Butler in 2019, and you guys said, oh, he's not a superstar. And I said, yes, he is. And they said, well, he can't win a championship by himself. And I said, well, that's not the point. The point is, now you just made a big step to make other steps coming along the way. Do I think the Heat are going to win the title this year? The odds are probably not. But the idea is, and they did it for this year and this year only, and if it doesn't happen this year, oh, my God, our whole life is over. This is a continuous process, and you just keep building and adding to it.
I think the point that Amin started with is the right one. When you have those big trades, I think back to Luka as like the most enormous trade. None of those teams are ready immediately. It's unfair to analyze whether they can win the championship right then because you have to give up a lot to get something like that done. Your roster isn't currently constructed to be built around that player. But where I do find the criticism to be fair about this team's potential to win the championship is understanding that under the new second apron era where you kind of are dealing with more hard caps, how difficult it's going to be to bring in other talented players, which is why we get back to the making these players, building, developing these players. If a team has to do that, the Heat are a team that can potentially do that. But I mean, do you see room or maneuvers with specific players in the future, or is it unfair to be looking for that right now? I think it's hard to find a path. I think is where the criticism is fair. Is like, yes, you got the quarterback. Every team needs a quarterback to win a championship. It's hard to find. You get one in the NBA, you got one, you can do it. Is there a path?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's absolutely a path. And again,
I wasn't a part of that. I didn't know.
You know what that means. I'm sorry, Amin. Brian Windhorst is with us. Brian Windhorst has been reporting and opining on this for several days, among the most credible people in the business. Brian, thank you. I know you're very busy today. What are your you want to say something
What's
before?
the thought process with that?
It happened at midnight. We were in a big hurry. We do a show in the morning. There's not a lot of time for imaging.
They would have beheaded Jeremy for that, by the way.
Well,
I'd be
mean,
killed
just,
in the streets.
Just enough, all of you, for questioning the imaging. It just, we don't work at midnight.
No, not the imaging, the sounding.
Yes,
That
it's an
was
alarm. It's an alarm signaling that
That
Giannis has been acquired and that we are in a state of emergency. Thank you. Yes,
It was him.
And I've got a cold. It wasn't him. It was me. But my lungs don't have any capacity.
Was you?
Brian, can you tell me what you make of the overnight developments? And clearly, Milwaukee squeezed a little more out of Miami than Miami was comfortable giving over the last couple of days with Boston getting involved.
Yeah, well, this is the pathway. This is the way that Pat Riley has won the championships. He was Alonzo Mourning, then it was Shaquille O'Neal, then it was LeBron James, then it was Jimmy Butler. Did I forget a star in there? Do you count Goran Dragic? Is Goran Dragic same type of thing, not the same level of star? This is the Heat recipe to go to a championship. So they have a star. He's in his prime. He wants to stay in Miami. I anticipate he'll sign. And now the challenge will be on, Andy Ellisberg and Pat Riley and, the development in, Adam Simon and the front office from the Heat to put a team around him because they paid a lot. And the one thing that was different about this time than the other times is now you have to deal with aprons. And I know it's so annoying. I have friends who are NBA fans, and they hate when I say the word apron. They want to turn off what they're watching at. But the Heat have they're a little bit restricted in how they're going to be able to build this year's team. But Giannis has years in his prime left. This is a multi-year thing. I would never put anything past the Heat. I don't anticipate them being able to compete for the championship this year, but I would anticipate them being able to build a championship contender over the next, 12 to 18 months.
You've snuck into Stephen A's office again, haven't you?
Did you have to bring that up? Like I just barely got away with it last time. I was hoping nobody would notice, and he reprimanded me for that. And
But he's wearing a cowboy hat behind you. I wouldn't assume that was in your office.
Let me just say, there's a lot. I don't have an office. There's a lot of like snacks in here, and I haven't touched anything. I've had zero residual presence in here. But
Come
you
on,
know,
man. You
George
gotta eat a snack.
Stephanopoulos.
You got to take a
George
snack.
Stephanopoulos' office is occupied. Diane Sawyer's office is occupied. Stephen A. is in Miami. Like this is what I'm able to sneak in here.
Do you feel like you were lied to when you were told that the Celtics weren't shopping Jaylen Brown, or do you honestly think that something happened in the last day
I wasn't
or two?
told they didn't shop him. I said they hadn't offered him. Those are two different things. And, that was a week ago. And obviously he was offered. He's out there. I think one of the most important, obviously this is a Miami centric audience that you have. The most important thing in the league right now for what's going to happen in the 26-27 season is that Boston has apparently decided that Jaylen Brown probably needs to be traded for them to be, the team that, a competitive team, because that's now going to be the next storyline in the NBA. Obviously, the Heat getting Giannis is a huge, from the moment they traded Jimmy Butler, they've been on the hunt for the next star. That's a huge story for them. That Boston, sort of examined and then decided we're going all in. But I will say this, Boston could have offered more. They could have put more things in this deal. They did not. So I don't think they viewed this as the be-all, end-all, that they had to get Giannis. It was their only pathway forward. I think Miami clearly had a little bit more urgency. And by the way, that may end up being, I'm not criticizing that, but they clearly had more urgency. Boston kept some pieces out, which leads me to believe, I don't know, I'm not in Brad Stevens' office right now with all his whiteboards and all his plans, but leads me to believe that Boston thinks it may have some other pathways with Jaylen Brown that go beyond having to sell everything out to get Giannis.
Do you think the Celtics will regret not doing this because of Hugo Gonzalez?
I don't think it was this. I don't think it ever comes down to that. I think there was way more multifaceted than that. We'll hear what the Bucks say. I think a factor in this too was if the Bucks made this trade the way it was presented to them, forget about Hugo Gonzalez. If the Bucks made this trade, they potentially would have been in the exact same spot a year from now. They'd have a star player on their team, and they weren't able to build out their roster. Now, maybe they smash hit this number 10 pick that they're going to make tonight. To me, the most important thing about this trade for Milwaukee is that they crush this draft tonight. Like, they need to move on from this deal. Fine, you made it. Have your press conference later. Crush number 10 and number 13. You've got to hit those players. That is what your pathway forward is, to crush those players. Tyler Hero is a quality player. He's a number 3 or number 4 on a high-level team. Let's just be honest. They need to get number 1 and number 2 tonight in the draft, okay? And if they had got a number 10 pick that could be a number 1 player, maybe they will, maybe they won't. How do I know the future? But if they knew that the number 10 pick tonight was going to yield a player that they could put Jaylen Brown with, and they could be a contender for the next 3 or 4 years, they would operate differently. But I think that part of this, and by the way, they obviously stewed over this. It took them forever to make this decision. And there was probably different voices who wanted different things. Maybe Jaylen Brown was the better way forward. But I think what they honestly decided was, if we trade for Jaylen Brown and then we can't put a team around him and we can't give him a contract extension, we're going to be in the same exact boat we were with Giannis in a year from now. And I do think that's part of this decision. I don't think it was about because they wanted, Baylor Shireman.
All right, I want to set up a big reveal. Let's go around the room. What do you think, everybody? What do you think Stephen A.'s snacks are? What are you guessing?
Big kind bar guy.
I got to Brian's very busy. I got to let him go.
Nature Valley Bar?
No, he's got to.
Popcorn.
That we'd let
No,
him
I think it would be funny if I think it's like people have sent him snack boxes and stuff. I'm just saying, I'm being very, very, there's many things in here that people have sent him. There's many things in here, like someone has left him a terrible, I'm not going to touch it, but I'm just going to tell you, someone has left him a terrible towel with a note on it. There is fan mail here. Yeah. There is suit swatches I would never touch and I would never wear. It's a very, very
Reese's
expensive
Pieces,
fabric.
definitely Reese's
No, he doesn't
Pieces,
eat that.
easy.
He doesn't eat
Blue
that.
Honey roasted
No.
peanuts.
Blue Dorito guy.
They're so easy.
No,
Ooh, something from
way.
Buc-ee's,
He's got
you
like
think?
mandarin.
Oh,
He's got like
Buc-ee's.
cuties. He's a healthy guy now.
Yes, Stephen A. is not consuming chocolate. I don't think so. There's various nuts and berries in a box over here that says snacks. I am not touching that box. I am not touching that box.
We got to check out Greeny's office. He's got a painting in there that someone sent to him. Check it out.
We got to let Brian go. A percentage of chance Norman Powell is still with the Heat next year.
Next to zero. Next to zero. I will say this, Dan. I've seen the Heat do some things over the years where they pull contractual things out of thin air, where they're able to get players to do things. There's a list of those players. Udonis Haslem was one of them. I remember Beno Udrih. Wasn't that like some special deal they made with Beno Udrih?
Yep.
So Mike Miller took less than he could have gotten elsewhere. So I would never, ever take anything off. I remember being on with you the week that LeBron signed, and I was sort of saying, I don't know how they're going to do this. And you said, because Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg can do it. And I was highly skeptical. That was 15 years ago. I'm not that way anymore. They've got $18 million right now to fill out 5 spots. Not like $18 million in theory, $18 million and they hit they're not $18 million that they're willing to spend. $18 million, $18 million. Hard cap. Can't go past it. No way they can go past it. They can create a little bit more space if they can. You guys know this. You guys know all this. If they can get Andrew Wiggins to come down from his $30 million, I don't know what that number is. I'm sure Andy Ellsberg has it figured out 17 different ways and had it figured out for a month. I'm sure they've already talked to him about it. They can create a little bit more room. I don't think that there's room there for Norm Powell. So, they trade away a player, and free some salary cap space up. Then we have a different discussion. But as they sit here now, I think it's likely that Norm Powell will be elsewhere.
We do have to let him go, but just true or false question. True or false? You can
I hate
only
when you do
just
this.
one
This
word.
is a
Just
trick.
one- no, it's
This
not
is
a
a
trick.
No, I won't.
It's not a trick. It's
Don't
an
fall for
easy.
his trick.
It's an easy question. It's an easy question.
Yeah.
You're gonna get him.
I've consumed your content. for
True or
decades. Go ahead.
false?
Go
True
ahead
or
and try.
false?
Go ahead. You can try.
You
can
were
try.
going to pull something out of somewhere other than thin air, but then remembered you weren't just casually talking among friends. True or false?
Regarding, you talking about the Heat? with
You
Norm
pulled
Powell?
something out of thin air, and I thought you were going
Little
to pull it
pause.
out of somewhere else instead of thin air, and you edited yourself. True or false?
True.
Thank you.
Yes!
Thank you.
Got him!
See you later.
Trail mix. Trail mix.
Sad little triangles. Sad little triangles they give you on airplanes.
There's Nestle little crunch.
Oh, we knew it.
things. And that's what I'd like to take, but I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it.
You earned it, Wendy. Get you one.
I'm not. I am going to walk out of here. I'm going to rub up all of the fingerprints, and I'm not touching anything. Yeah. It's a little warm in here, and there's a thermostat, but I would and I know he's 2,000 miles away or 1,000 however long for here to Miami. I would not touch it.
You've been nonstop giving opinion and reporting for months now. You deserve.
I feel
a
like
damn
in an
crunch.
act of rebellion, you should take one nibble off of one little crunch. Just in an act, just one little crunch. No, I can't get you to do it. I can't force you into an act of rebellion. No.
I am very, very respectful of Mr. Smith's property in here, and he allows me in New York City, where space is at a premium, that I am able to briefly to be a part of your show, rent his desk for a matter of minutes.
Thank you for the time. I know you're very busy.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a good day.
Brian. You too.
Wendy.
Let's
enjoyed that.
Let's bring back Amin. We're not going to do that to him again. It's rude and it is disrespectful, so we aren't going to do that again to Amin. But what kind of Jaylen Brown problem do the Celtics have, Amin?
I mean, this is sports at the end of the day. It's business, and it all depends on the kind of relationship that Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla have with Jaylen Brown. What I mean by that is, when I worked for the Suns, Steve Kerr was our GM, and Steve Kerr would always make it a point to address the team as a whole and individually, hey, we like you guys, we want you here because we think we're building towards something, but if we see an opportunity to make our team better, and it involves including you, I will do it. Now, I won't have your name out in rumors for months on end. I won't put you through that. And if we're considering something, I'll let you know. But at the end of the day, there is no promise for any of us to stay here. And because of that, I think a lot of guys really respected that approach. And when we ended up trading Shaq to Cleveland, we're the only team that sent Shaq away and didn't get burnt in the process because he really respected our process. If Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla had that kind of relationship with Jaylen Brown and letting him know early in the process, even before he heard his name in any rumors, look, if there's an opportunity and your name's in it, it might happen. So I just want you to know that we love you. We'd love to have you for a long time. But if we think we can make our team better, we'll do it. I think that might have landed better if he discovered this in the midst of him being upset about how he's perceived either internally or externally. Then it might take a little bit more cajoling and smoothing over. But the reality is the thing that's in their favor the most is the best thing for Jaylen Brown is to go out there and play really well for a championship contending team. And Boston is that. So it does him no good to pout and demand a trade. The best option for him to get his money and to get his value to where he wants to be is to go out there and play.
Given what we've seen from Jaylen Brown and the Celtics, how do you think this is going to play out? Because I hear you talking about how things were at a different place with a different player, and I don't know Jaylen Brown or the situation as well as probably you or some other people, but I get the sense from the clips that I see from his Twitch stream and the quotes that I see out there and the reporting that we're hearing about it, that it ain't going to go as smooth. Just because we know it's a business, it doesn't feel like he's going to handle it that way.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Dominique, like, why does he have a Twitch stream? And he said it. It's because he wants to control his narrative. He feels like when left to its own devices, the media doesn't exactly tell his side of the story well, and he feels like him going direct to consumer helps. Well, guess what happens when people have the ability to tell their narrative? They also get to build their narrative. So he may not necessarily be as sensitive as he appears to be in these streams. Maybe he's just positioning. Maybe he's just trying to put himself in a place where he's being victimized by a system, by an organization, whatever the case may be. But again, at the end of the day, whether he's sensitive for real or not, whether he feels underappreciated or not, the best option available to him is to go out and play well on a championship contending team to get his money, and he got the opportunity to do that. Remember, Tatum is still recovering. He's still not going to be the same Tatum he was prior to the injury. So at least on day one of training camp, Jaylen Brown still has the inside track of, I'm still the best player on this team right now.
Let me ask you the question this way. Given what you expect to happen in the coming months, okay, given the expectations that you have, who's going to be better next year, the Heat or the Celtics?
Right now, what it is, I would say the Celtics, because they have their roster. But again, the Heat have an opportunity to go out there and do that Miami Heat thing where they get that guy who's like, oh, that guy's
What
washed.
do you expect in the next couple of months? What do you expect to happen that will answer that question for you? Who do you expect to be better when games are being played next year, the Celtics or the Heat?
Right now, I'm going to go with the Celtics because they have their roster. Right now, what you're asking me is the old Family Guy question. A boat's a boat, but a mystery box could be anything. It could be a boat. The Celtics are a boat. The Heat are a mystery box right now. It could be amazing, depending on what's inside that mystery box, or it could be still a work in progress. But you have to go with the status quo. The status quo is the Celtics have a full roster that's ready to contend right now.
Who is this best for? Giannis, the Celtics, Milwaukee, or the Heat? And I'm separating Giannis from the Heat.
Right. No, it's the Heat.
Yeah.
It's the Heat. They've been on this hunt for years, and they finally. And what I've always said about front office work is the easy part is the hard part, and the hard part's the easy part. Easy part is saying he's a superstar. That guy's an MVP. So it's like, yeah, we can all recognize that. Can you get him? Well, no, that's hard because there's other teams that are going to be competing for it, whatever. On the flip side is like, oh, that guy's a good player. Anyone can have him. That's easy, but it's hard because you actually have to identify them. It's harder to identify those role players. The Miami Heat front office is really good at identifying those role players and those complementary pieces. But they haven't been good at landing the whale.
This is so interesting because you're right, but I think and it's kind of a legacy question. Who is more impacted, assuming they win a championship in the next couple of years? Whose legacy is more like bolstered? Giannis, Pat Riley, Spo. Like, I keep thinking about this, and we're celebrating Spo and Pat Riley's potential, with what they can do and what they've done in the past, more than we're talking about how much this impacts Giannis. And I think we might possibly be overlooking the idea that Giannis winning a championship at another place, will we give all that credit to him, how special a player he has become? Or will we say, damn, Pat Riley and the Heat did it again, don't care if he's 85?
No. It's absolutely Giannis, right? Because the list of guys who've won one title is long in terms of comparatively speaking to guys who've won multiple titles. And then if you say multiple titles in different places, that list shrinks considerably. Giannis absolutely benefits if they win a title tremendously. But in terms of today, Giannis gets another crack at trying to contend and all that stuff. But today, Pat Riley gets to stand up and say, remember when y'all thought I was washed? Oops, I did it
Great
again.
comeback. Great comeback for Pat Riley.
Zaz,
man.
what did you just spit into a cup like with a disgusted face?
It was
What
crazy.
What just happened to you?
Yeah.
What
I
did
just
you
heard a noise to
What
my
did you
right.
just sip on and make a disgusting face? I thought you chewed
Yeah.
tobacco all of a sudden and swallowed some of it.
Yeah, so like I got water right here, which is what I thought that I was drinking. I want to take a sip of water. And, it's already set in your head what you're about to sip. So if it's something opposite of what you think you're going to sip, that's very jarring to your senses. My senses can be very sensitive, okay? So I thought that I was about to have water, and it was very upsetting when it turned out to be my really cold coffee. That was very disgusting. So I had to spit it back out.
This happened to me this weekend with what I thought was water, but it was mezcal neat. And so I thought I was taking a sip of just clean water and was like, whoa, my eyes got real red. And
So you were sick this weekend and you decided to drink mezcal.
right before I got sick.
Jafiel?
I feel like thinking you're getting water, getting a little sweet drink, that's different. Are you excited? Like, if you're anticipating a little bland sip of water, you get Kool-Aid extra sugar?
But like I told you, my senses are very sensitive, all right? And I thought that there was going to be water in my tongue, and it was something not.
How much do you think the Knicks winning the championship influenced Pat Riley to put it all on the table? He had to be pissed about the Knicks.
I think, look, they tried to get him at the trade deadline, and the Bucks held out, and so he threw in more. I think Boston's involvement, for sure, that motivated it more. To lose him is one thing. To lose him to those guys, that absolutely could not happen. And so maybe that was all Milwaukee needed, was just the right second competitor, second suitor. But I don't think the Knicks winning. I don't think
Pat's over that.
That had any.
I mean, I want to put in front of you this Pat Riley quote and give you the chance to tell me what's the closest comp you have to Pat Riley sending out a team spokesman to say of Danny Ainge, the general manager of the Celtics at the time, Danny Ainge needs to shut the bleep up and manage his own team. He was the biggest whiner going when he was playing, and I know that because I coached against him. What is the closest comp you have to somebody in Pat Riley's position sending out a vice president to give that quote?
Probably him faxing his resignation to the Knicks on Christmas. That's up there too. By the way, shout out to Tim Donovan. Is that the pinnacle of his career? A guy's got a long, illustrious career working in sports as a comms guy, and his number one moment is he had to tell the assembled
He had
media.
to have hated that. He does not. I mean, this is not a person who wants to be in the spotlight. And I would have loved to have seen the conversation where Pat's like writing that down or telling him to write it down and saying, go tell the media this. You go tell
You want me to
Ira.
read this?
Go tell Ira and Ethan and Barry I said this.
Dan, this is my favorite part where Pat Riley says that statement. And Tim Donovan reads it back to him. Okay, so we're going to tell Danny Ainge that, no. I want you to tell him to go fuck himself. I want you to use those words. And Tim's like, Pat, we can't. Tim, I want you to use these exact words.
This is an order, Tim. It's not a request. It's not a suggestion.
Tim Donovan
I'm not giving you.
Tim Donovan did see me juggle at Dan's wedding. I just want to throw that out there as the highlight of his career.
Was that before or after you hit Dan Patrick in the nuts?
Just before. Lost control.
You hit Dan Patrick in the nuts.
Dan,
while
you don't know that?
juggling
You don't
in
know
my
that
wedding.
story? I was juggling.
You don't know the story?
I was cooking for like 45 straight seconds.
It was
and
incredible.
and I started to feel myself. So I started like, doing shtick, like talking while doing it. And then I lost control and it hit Dan Patrick right in the sack.
nuts.
Now, Chris,
He went,
you got to paint a picture. There's some people who are new to the show. They don't know this. At Dan's wedding, wasn't a traditional like at a wedding hall or whatever and banquet tables. It was kind of very casual, and you choose where you sat.
Yeah.
And so there was the one section that was Dan Patrick, and it was Mina, and it was Sarah Spain, and I think Pablo sat at that section. And then there was the reject section that was me and Cortez and Izzy, and who else was at
I
our
was there in
table?
that section. It was the couches.
Oh, Tony was there too. And then there was the hey, we grew up with Dan section. That was Chris and Greg Cody and all the other Codys were there. So, and then there was the Sedano was there with Hawk, I thought, or who was he there with?
Andrew Hawkins?
No, I can't remember.
Andre Dawson.
Andre Dawson. There you go. Andre Dawson and some old Miami sports people. They were over there. And so we're all sitting around. It was like a high school cafeteria. And we're trying to see, like, how do we make this commingle thing? And Chris was like, I'll start juggling. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And so he's juggling. And he's killing, by the way. He's doing a great job. Everyone's real impressed. And then he just went one juggle too far. Dan Patrick caught one right in the nether region.
No, I
Dan,
didn't know
you didn't
that
know this.
story. No, I was busy.
Oh yeah, but you were mingling. You were mingling, Dan.
I did not know that story, but no, I did not know that Chris Cody found a way to embarrass me while I was busy.
Dan Patrick loved it, by the
things.
way. When it was going on and the Ferris wheel was
that's what he
rolling and
did
Chris was just doing it, he was in awe.
Oh, Dan
and
likes
then
the rough stuff, huh?
he was in awe again.
Yeah.
I do have an Amin question because the Jaylen Brown part of this conversation is I'm still a bit hung up on that. I would like, Amin, if you could put on your executive hat one more time. And if I'm Jaylen Brown and I walk into your office and say, come on, Amin, what the hell? Like, what do you say? I'm angry. I'm hurt. You're shopping me around. You're treating me like I ain't nothing. I was the MVP of your championship team. I put this team on my back this last season while Jason Tatum was out. And now, Chris. And now this is what we're doing.
That's
When
how it
I walk in
happened
your office,
right there.
What do you say?
That's exactly how it happened with Chris. What I say is, first of all, have I done the front end work? And that to me is so important. The front end work of building that relationship with the guy before his name is ever out there. But assuming you're saying no, assuming not, I think you just got to be frank, man. Hey, we had an opportunity to go after a generational player. We thought we could get him. Like a lot of people are saying, you should feel very flattered that that's what it takes to get a guy like that. But that doesn't mean we're not bought in on what we can do here. And I think you have an opportunity here to really cement yourself in a way that will make us look foolish one day, that we tried to trade you for a guy who is older and perhaps on the downside of his career. So I think you got to butter him up a little bit, but there has to be an element of truth to this. Like, hey, man, this is the business, and we're all trying to just maneuver these chess pieces to a place to get us to a place of success. But again, I would urge every front office member, future or present, who's listening to this right now, do your work now. Like, don't blow smoke up your players' asses now, because when the day comes when you have to make those tough decisions and those decisions don't pan out, you can't go back and say, oh, no, I still love you, whatever. You have to be able to be upfront with everybody. And that's why I think the best front offices do. They have a very straightforward relationship with their players.
Do you feel like you can answer accurately what was happening with Bucks ownership and everything there, given that at the trade deadline, the reporting was that this Heat deal was essentially done? And then ownership stepped in and said, no, we're not doing this now. Now the reporting is that there's been conflict on both sides between what the general manager wanted and what the owner wanted. One of them wanted the Celtics offer. One of them wanted the Heat offer. To your way of looking at this, the Heat offer was better, correct? Because it's got twice as many assets in it, even though Jaylen Brown's not one of them. And it's got younger assets in it. You don't want to just replace Giannis with Jaylen Brown when you're not going to be better with Jaylen Brown than you were with Giannis.
Precisely. And that Jaylen Brown's up for an extension, so you have to make a decision almost immediately to rapidly escalate his salary and by that way your salary commitments. To me, Milwaukee's perhaps the path to an even better deal would have been to be insistent on Boston. No, go find us that third team. Go find us what that haul is going to be for Jaylen Brown, because I have to believe there's a great haul out there for Jaylen Brown if the Celtics chose to pursue it. Celtics probably did not want to do that because it goes from, hey, we traded you for Giannis to, hey, we sent you to Portland or we sent you to Atlanta or wherever else. And that's kind of a step too far. But I think ultimately what Milwaukee got was the thing that sets them up for the future the best, which is enough bites at the apple to continue to build this thing. Remember, they don't have control of their picks for the foreseeable future. So they can improve their team from the draft prior to this deal. They could not improve their team through the draft. Trades, who are they going to trade? A.J. Green, Ryan Rollins, nice young players, but hardly the thing that brings back a great haul. So they can improve their team by a trade. So then free agency, who's signing in Milwaukee? Not too many people, especially if Giannis isn't there. So if you look at all of those things, you're saying, I can't improve myself by the draft. I can't do it by trade, and free agency is going to be tough. What does Jaylen Brown do for me? It's just I've just swapped one problem for another. This deal at least gives them the opportunity to start to, A, build through the draft, through these picks, and B, build through trades because Killer Ware has a market, because Hawkins will have a market, because Tyler Hero has a market.
Do you have a theory better than Dominique's on why basketball reporting seems to get it a whole lot more wrong than baseball, football, hockey, all of them combined?
I'm not as tapped into those other sports. So, for instance, if you say, hey, name some newsbreakers on the basketball side, I think I can name a bunch, a dozen, or whatever. You say hockey, how many newsbreakers are there in hockey? How many newsbreakers are there in football, right? Schefter, Rappaport, who else, right? Mike Silver, who doesn't really break news like that anymore as much. So when the population of people who are competing for news stories is smaller, it's easier to have a more homogenized messaging out there because there's less competition for those stories. That would be my uneducated guess.
Hockey has plenty of insiders.
Yeah, they got Elliot Friedman, Emily Kaplan, Pierre LeBron,
David Dwork.
Okay. All right. Well, I couldn't tell you. Actually, I have a question for you guys because this is the second big deal, of the week in Miami. Brady Tkachuk or Giannis Antetokounmpo? What's a bigger deal to Miami?
Very obviously Giannis.
Giannis.
I don't know how good Brady. You guys were glazing Brady Tkachuk. I thought, oh my God.
Well, he's not Giannis.
Here it is.
He's not Giannis.
I don't know.
He's not. He's just.
I don't watch hockey like that. I'm asking a question.
We were emotionally hedging just in case the Giannis.
Brady Tkachuk's like Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
Really?
Brady Tkachuk is really good, but he's not Giannis. Like Giannis is Donovan. Like he's a good player, but you're not like super excited if he's your best guy.
You weren't. I'm sorry, real quick. You weren't on yesterday when I was on, but this now marks the second time that Giannis becomes instantly the most famous number 34 for a franchise, snatching it away from Ray Allen.
The Giannis Brady Tkachuk example is actually something I'm willing to do. Who would be the hockey equivalent of Giannis? Because it's not McDavid, but who would it be? Like, where would you put the correct analogy on hockey greatness? And this is the equivalent of Giannis.
Leon Draisaitl will be a good comp for me.
So you're talking about like a guy who, like, if he were traded, this would be.
No, I'm talking about a sheer immortal in hockey history that will be one of the top 50 hockey players of all time who's playing right now. Because I don't think it's Draisaitl. I don't think that's compliment enough. Giannis is
I think Giannis is bigger than Draisaitl.
Draisaitl's a number 2. It's going to have to be the star of a team. It's going to have to be an immortal who's presently playing, who's not Ovechkin in his 40s, who's somebody in his early 30s, and is not an old player, but is somebody that's going to be regarded as one of the best of all time, top 50 players presently playing.
Nathan McKinnon.
Not good enough.
What?
Are you ready to do your catchphrases? I heard there's some controversy around the. It's the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He is counting down his top 50 catchphrases of all time. It has been a successful months-long joke. What is the controversy surrounding your catchphrase list? What is the issue?
It's big. The controversy is that based on quality demand, the catchphrase countdown has suddenly increased from a top 50 to a top 60.
What?
That's
What?
right. And it's controversial.
Of course it is. You told us it was a top 50, and we told you we told you it was something you were making up as you went along, and that you weren't going to get the numbers right, and now you just changed it.
He botched it to such a degree that there are so many good ones left that we're just pushing all
I
the
knew
current
that was
ones
going to
back.
happen, though. That's exactly what we were saying.
Your brain beating me.
How did this happen? What was the ruling? What did the committee get together and decide? How did it happen that it got expanded? Now, no one's going to complain about this because more catchphrases is great, but we told you this was going to happen, and we told you this was a sloppy list by you.
The others, they all learn from me.
Yeah, right.
No, I looked at all the catchphrases remaining, and there was only 14 left, but there were like 20-something good ones. So I'm like,
thank you.
Let's go. Push
Wait a minute. So how did you do it, though? Are there now? Is there now a new list, 50 to 60, or
No,
what are you doing?
everything that's been said is just like what was 50 is now 60.
Yes.
There were 14 left, and now there's 24
So we're
left.
not in the top 20
No,
anymore?
now we're at 23
we were
and
in the
24.
top 20 of the countdown, and now we're at 24?
I'm telling you, they're bangers, though. They're just bangers
There
left.
is nobody that's actually upset about this development. Come on.
You've got to honor the list,
I'm telling you, I got a peek. I don't know the exact order, but I got a peek of what the top 10 looks like, and it is just banger after banger.
Yeah, Yeti hated it. He's against it.
Yeti thinks that we should just make him live with the world he gave us.
Should.
Like,
I mean,
there's-
I asked you several times throughout this whole process. Have you thought this out? Have you planned out the list? You know that there are 50. You kept assuring me that you have it all under control.
Driver comfort is paramount.
He ain't wrong. You know, part of the beauty of me is a bit of serendipity, a bit of
You're the kind of guy.
unpredictability. And so the same is true with this list. Okay, whenever you do a countdown, Zaz, bank this information for your future. Whenever you do any sort of a countdown, controversy is good. You want somebody to say, that sucks, that should be lower, or that's, wow, I can't believe that's not higher.
So wait, so what used to be 50 is now 60.
Yes.
So we've gotten fraudulent rankings up to now. All the numerical rankings we've gotten up to now are all wrong.
He can give you the updated, like number 60, he can give you the update of whatever.
I know, but they're all, every previous incarnation of this that we have given the American public and internationally has been wrong.
I would say adjusted more than wrong.
Adjusted.
Maybe to Greg's credit, too, I've never heard of a top 60.
Thank you.
Well, how do we know it's not going to end up being 62 because he's going to think of two more on his way home because he didn't plan any of this
It
out?
would never be 62. It could bump to 65. It would never be a number like 62.
We would obviously go in fives, Dan.
Here's also the thing. This is a big question of mine. So you have left 10 out, which is why you are expanding it from 50 to 60. But the 10 that you left out are automatically like they're in the top 23. You're saying top 24.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he left bangers out.
Right.
This had to be done, guys.
Yeah, it had to be done, like he says.
Again, it doesn't have to be done if you're dealing with a responsible person who plans it
That's
at the
true.
beginning, as opposed to just making everything up as he goes along.
No, listen, and we're in the sports business. We should know this better than anybody. Rankings always change. When I was born, everybody agreed Babe Ruth, greatest player ever. Not so much now. Rankings
That was when I was
change.
growing up. It was a hot debate. Everyone agreed, though. Babe Ruth, that young kid's got a future.
It was an argument back then on sports radio. Tris Speaker or Babe
Yeah,
Ruth?
that's right. Lou Gehrig was in play.
Just telegram in your thoughts.
I have to go back to Chris Cody here because I'm not sure that I knew this. I have to go back. So you're married to an identical twin.
That's right.
Okay, I have questions.
Go on.
First,
Not too many questions.
well, I know your father's sitting right next to me. It's a little weird. Okay, so first question.
No wonder they're into swinging at that house.
Were you always able to tell them apart?
Not at the beginning when we were just dating. Her sister has like a beauty mark on her face, so I was like, mine's the one without that.
Okay. My next question is, a lot of times, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you think my sister's attractive, don't you? You clearly think her sister's attractive.
That's right. Undeniable.
If you think your wife's hot, you think her sister is hot.
My sister-in-law's hot.
That's
There, I said
crazy.
it.
Right?
I've never said that to her before.
No, you got to say that, though.
Well, you must think she's hot.
But Zaz, here's the deal. Everyone with a hot sister-in-law thinks their sister-in-law is hot. He's the only one who's allowed to say it out loud. That's the difference.
That's true. That's true.
Not like the rest of us are like, oh, my sister-in-law is terrible. Like, if you got a hot one, you're like, oh, my God, she's hot, but you just can't say it out loud.
Yeah. And are they actually different?
They're very similar in a lot of ways.
So how'd you choose?
The other one was taken.
Papa Cody, wait a second now. You experience this. I mean, do you find one more charming than the other?
At the very beginning, I too had difficulty telling them apart.
But do you like, now that you've gotten to know, presumably both of them pretty well, do you think that your boy made the right choice between the two?
I have to say that. I mean, of course he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course he did.
Now.
I love my daughter-in-law, but they're eerily alike.
Now,
not just physical.
What I'm about to admit now is a little embarrassing.
Go on.
There are times, in marriage, you're going through,
We know.
you're like,
we know.
it's just, this is
I don't like where this is headed.
I don't either.
I do.
Where sometimes you just like, if you're trying to keep things fresh, you just imagine it's the other person.
Oh, no.
That's an unbelievable admission.
That
What's the matter with you, man?
I didn't hear
Suey. Hey, guys in the room outside, mark that down.
For
Suey
the record,
revelation.
did everybody see as one of society's great empaths? Did you see me try to get in the way? Did you see me try to dive in front of that? He refused. Yeah. He went. He plowed straight ahead.
You guys never struggle, huh?
Your wife clearly does not listen to this show.
Sure doesn't.
What in hell? No
did-
worries
what
that
did you
this is
just
getting
say?
back to her.
Tony, how you feel about that admission?
Not great. Yeah, not great. Even though, admittedly, Chris says that his wife doesn't watch the show, which is good, right?
Very
so he
good.
feels like he can shoot from the hip here and not really be taken to task, like Dave said. Very good. But the issue is, sometimes some things are so flammable and so big that they peer through the veil of Chris saying, "Oh no, my wife doesn't watch the show," where she's like, "You said what?"
That was bigger than the show, man.
Bigger than the show.
Let's not clip this if we can.
That was an incredible admission.
It really
Greg, what did you make of all that?
A little bit unfortunate. I wish he hadn't said that. It could come back to haunt.
You guys never struggle.
Well, in the context of this show, you can always say, I was just kidding. Of course I was just kidding. But will she believe you?
I was.
Okay.
Folks, the World Cup is here. Join the Dan Le Batard Show and DraftKings Sports for Colombia versus Portugal this Friday, June 27th at 7:30 p.m. at Lost Boy Clubhouse, 157 East Flagler Street in downtown Miami. And remember, DraftKings Sportsbook now available in all 50 states. Go now.
Chris, it's Saturday, not Friday.
Saturday
You're
night, yeah.
sending people on the wrong day to the. So get the day right, and you know what that sound means. Don't blame anybody else. Get the day right when you're promoting something. That sound means that Mike is joining us from Mexico at the same exact time that Michelle Beadle is joining us because we've decided to do that at the moment. Yes. So Mike is at the World Cup enjoying World Cup things, and Michelle Beadle is also here. I'll try to navigate those two things as we do them. Let me start with Michelle here real quick. Michelle, your thoughts, and thank you for joining us. Your thoughts on now Wemby being chased down by the original Wemby model that is 10 years older and is now in Miami.
I'm happy for Bobby Portis. I think that's going to be a fun little weather upgrade. No state tax, correct? Look, it's great. I'm happy for all of us because we don't have to talk about what's Giannis going to do anymore. I think those are my first two winners of the trade. And also I'm waiting to see what else they're going to do because this doesn't feel like enough, but I'm a big believer in a change of scenery. So from that standpoint alone, there's value in this. But I think Milwaukee did a pretty darn good job, to be honest. I've heard some referring to it as fleecing the Heat. I wonder what you guys think about that, because that seems strong to me.
Well, let's go to Mike Ryan here, and we'll get his World Cup Mexico coverage in a second. But, Mike, you have to be excited now that Pat Riley has finally landed a whale. So your thoughts on the Heat being fleeced?
I'm just happy that they made an aggressive move that hurts. This has been something that we've been pining for 5 years at least. And in an interesting turn of events, it kind of felt like the Boston media became what they hate the most. They actually became Heat fans, not wanting to part with guys like Hugo Gonzalez. All of a sudden, you start becoming what you hate. But I'm really happy that Miami got a superstar. It seems like it's really difficult to build a roster from here, but it's going to be a fascinating challenge. I think that, they got a much better base to build around, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm pumped for Pat Riley. I'm pumped for Heat fans.
Michelle?
Let me ask you this, or at least throw that out there, because Boogie Cousins should patent this. He called it Milwaukee with palm trees. Do we have any takers on that?
Yeah, no, that's trash.
I kind of liked it. I kind of loved it.
Yeah, they seem to be the worst shooting team in the league right now, with not a lot of money or assets to improve the team. So I'm curious. They're going to lean on their development. I do think that they're going to make the playoffs and get out of that, play-in hell that they've been in for the last few years, just because this team's going to be built on defensive effort and the night in, night out grind of an 82-game season. They should have a nice little seed attached to their names come playoff time. And then they're going to be held to play against, even if they don't add anybody. But they certainly don't have the scoring punch to be real title contenders at this moment. They're going to have to add. And I'm not even looking at the teams above them. I'm looking at a team like Indiana that is going to get healthy and chase them from the bottom. But look, at least they have a shot now, whereas before they were just, twisting in the wind.
See, that feels like change of scenery to me. I feel like we're kind of celebrating that everybody gets a fresh start. And we all know that honeymoon period when you do sort of switch teams, it's valuable and it's big in sports. So I'm wondering if that's what we're going to look at here. That first year is going to be fun for both. And then it maybe evens out. But yeah, y'all need shooters. Like, I don't know. The Norman Powell of it all seems to be like, that's not going to happen. So I don't understand where the shooting's coming from. Maybe somebody blossoms, but that's not where I want to put all my eggs. Somebody might blossom.
Mike, is that your hotel room?
Yeah, where are you, dude?
Yeah, I'm in what Lou Dobbs calls Watala, and yeah, I got a sick hammock and a pool table back there.
What?
Yeah.
What is happening right
Exchange rate, baby.
Let's hear from Lou Dobbs on what we thought was him trying to say Guadalajara.
Oh, no, that was not.
No, he tried.
That was real?
No, yeah, that's Lou Dobbs, but it wasn't Guadalajara. It was something else. It was like
It was Oaxaca.
That's not even.
It was Oaxaca.
That's not even close.
There was an X in there. There was an X in there.
That was the speed bump. He was like,
No, it sounds like baklava to me now. I can't. I'm never gonna get that out of my head. No, you've been around the world, Lou. Why?
I do want to mention on the shooting front when it comes to the Heat, Bobby Portis is a guy who obviously in his career has shot the ball really well, 46% last year from three. Davion Mitchell shot right around 40%. Andrew Wiggins shot a career high at nearly 42%. Those are guys who are just on the roster right now, let alone guys like, first of all, Chris Middleton, who is a likely option, but Klay Thompson as well is a name that I've heard that the Heat could be looking for. And you're talking about guys who are obviously past their prime, but are guys who can space the floor and hit open shots, as well as anything else they can add potentially through sign and trade if Norman Powell is indeed on the move. So there's a lot more involved in this trade over the next couple weeks.
Outside of San Antonio, Michelle, there's not another team that you'd trust more organizationally to find and build gems that other people pass on. Like, it's San Antonio and Miami are the standard there.
That is the place that sort of defined culture as we all seem to know it in this league. Yeah, I don't know how to put this classily, but yeah, you respect and you trust in Pat Riley, and you just sort of go, okay. Obviously, signing and bringing in Giannis, and again, I love Bobby P, so I'm a big fan of you guys doing that. I don't know why I'm you guysing you, but I am. But it's just also you want to make sure that more is coming, and because we trust in Pat Riley, we assume so. The Klay Thompson thing, there's a lot of water for his boat. Like, that's not a bad idea at all, and I don't know that he's happy with what he's found himself in Dallas. So. Oh, I don't hate that as well. But yeah, we trust in Pat Riley, and until he sort of loses his fastball or shows that, we have to, right? Like, that's sort of the rule. I'm not an ageist. I'm not going to sit here and say he's lost his fastball. No way. You're not getting me to do that, ever.
Michelle, we haven't had a chance to talk to you after the Spurs and the final. So can you give us just how you felt about the whole experience?
I was sitting behind Andrew Schultz for that game, so it was hell. It was hell on earth, the entire thing. But it's funny. I've been sick for a week since, and I don't know if it's got to be related, right?
Yeah.
Like they can't be completely not related. It's the future's bright, and like I do think that Knicks team, and I've said this the whole time, like I may not love the fans, but I think the team is so darn likable that it sort of angers you a little bit. I do like that there now is friction between how we like the Spurs played them and how they sort of refer to the Spurs as it's all sort of come and gone. But yeah, it hurt. It would have been nice to get just like another win, just have 2 up on the board. But I think it's a learning block, and I'm not worried about the future at all. I'm a little worried what OKC is planning on doing in this draft because God knows they're trying, but I think we're going to be all right. We'll be back plenty of times.
What do you think is fairer, that if you had to choose one, not that it is one, that the Spurs were too young and simply did not know how to close and didn't have a killer, or they were really tired at the end of season and at the end of games, and Jalen Brunson has been doing that at the end of games for 3 straight years?
If I had to pick one of those, I would say it's weird too, because it's sort of, I'm going to contradict myself. I think the young thing did start to show itself sort of in the way things kind of would become unraveled. Problem with that theory, however, is De'Aaron Fox was the most unraveled at times, and he was the whole reason he's there is his veteran presence. So it was very difficult to kind of put those two things together. I don't know that they're tired. I mean, look, you can't say you're young and tired at the same time, right? Like as a 50-year-old, I'm not giving a 20-year-old that excuse. I can't and I won't. So I think that there was a naive quality to sort of the playoffs themselves. And honestly, you can put that on Mitch Johnson as well. Like that's his first time. So like I said, I if you don't learn from that, then I would be concerned. But I have every reason to believe that all of this will be learned from moving forward. And I have no idea what they plan on doing in the offseason. I'll be curious and excited to see the moves. But man, sucked being in that building for that day.
Michelle, what did you make of the narrative around Wembanyama shifting so dramatically?
Oh, I'm sorry, because everyone got sensitive and decided he's a villain. Love it. I love it so much. Make him the villain. Honestly, I'd rather root for a villain than a hero anyways. Who doesn't? What actor has ever said, love playing the good guy? Nobody, ever. So villain for me, we'll take it. I don't care that he's a quote-unquote bad sport, which I find hilarious as adults. We're still worried about that. I was a bad sport growing up. I think I'm a perfectly great human being now, so he'll be fine. But I do love that that's his character now. He has a character in this league, and what he does with it will be truly the test. Because we've seen guys in this league that were assassins that didn't make friends, and they turned out to be a couple of the greatest of all time in Kobe and MJ. So I'm okay. If he's going to be a villain, be a villain.
Michelle, thank you. Nice seeing you. Thank you for toughing it out for us.
You too, guys.
I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice the same way you can hear it in mine. But thank you for being with us.
We're gonna make it. It's getting old. We're getting old, Dan. Now everything makes us sick.
I think Paul Rudd has enjoyed playing the good guy. I think I would push
Tom Hanks.
At Le Batard Show, does the actor prefer or actress prefer to play the hero or the villain? At Le Batard Show. Thank you, Michelle.
I think it's just actor.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
Thank you for the help,
No,
Dominic.
women aren't heroes.
Let's go back out here to Mike Ryan because he was supposed to be joining us for World Cup coverage.
Is he sleeping on a hammock like as the bed, or does he have a bed somewhere else and also has the hammock to hang out?
The bed's upstairs, Tony.
I'm just making sure.
Oh, my man got an upstairs.
He's got a pool table over there.
And an upstairs.
So tell us, which do you prefer to talk about right
Giannis, given his age and what we just saw last year. So I'm hugely pumped about what Zito and the Panthers did in acquiring Brady Tkachuk. It's crazy that they have a new best player when Barkov is on the team. Brady Tkachuk fits in so well with this team in terms of being a two-way player. And as Michelle said, it's fun being the bad guy. We somehow even got more unlikable with this trade, which I can't wait to see the season play out. And it doesn't seem like they're done. It looks like Bob is gone, and they're going to try to upgrade at the goalie position. If they somehow get Hellebuck too, which I don't think is even possible, but if they get Hellebuck too, this is probably the most loaded team we've ever put together.
Mike, I'm super pumped about Brady Tkachuk also, obviously, and the Panthers are without question a Stanley Cup contender, if not one of the favorites. But Giannis is bigger than Brady Tkachuk. Like, Giannis is a lot better at what he does than Brady Tkachuk is, and I'm so happy with Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah, I think high-end ceiling, I'm not going to debate. I think part of the reason that we've been talking about Giannis for like 3 years, it seems. I think that I don't think that the time is now to poke holes in the fears of what Giannis may develop into. There were signs of that last year. I won't debate you. His high-end ceiling, if he can recapture that form of a couple of years ago, he's one of the best players in the league. But I also think Brady Tkachuk is one of the best players in the league, and I don't think Florida fans or hockey fans in general are all that familiar with him because what he did with Ottawa this season, particularly before the Olympics. I just think the world of this guy. I think he's much better than Matthew, and I love Matthew.
Whoa, you think he's much better than Matthew?
Yeah. I think he's certainly more talented. He's certainly a goal scorer that you can depend on more. He's got more goal scoring punch.
Bigger hitter.
Yeah, he's big, physical. He plays in so well to what Florida is doing. And look, he's young. I think he's going to continue to improve. It's an interesting debate. Look, if you want to tell me Giannis is irrefutably better, I understand the passion behind that. But I think the Florida Panthers pretty much just guaranteed a path to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I like that they gave Carolina a day to celebrate.
Their forwards obviously are loaded. I just do worry about Bobrovsky 38 gone. Like that's not a small piece, right? I don't know how worried you guys are about that, but you can't just go in with goaltending problems no matter how good you are up front.
You don't have to have a great goaltender to win the Stanley Cup anymore. Typically, you needed a guy to get hot. Look who just won the Stanley Cup for Carolina. They had a goalie change in the middle of that series. And it's not like Bob was tremendous during his time in Florida. Yeah, there were stretches where he made big-time saves, but keep in mind how this entire run started for Florida. It started with Alex Lyon. Bob had lost his job.
Yeah, but when they were winning championships, Mike, he was great.
Yeah, he was good in certainly individual games. He was great. It was a bit of a roller coaster with Bob. My point is I don't think Bob is going to be that difficult to replace. I think when you juxtapose it with the challenge in front of the Heat's front office, that mountain is way more steep.
I was expecting a lot more enthusiasm from Mike from this because you were out on the Heat for so long and so critical because they haven't gotten this done. It seems like they still got some like winning back of your heart to do.
That's not an indictment of the Heat. That's a celebration of the Panthers. He's that
right.
excited
I know. I'm
about
saying
what the Panthers did.
I saw when he did the transition. No,
I'm pumped for the Heat too. I'm sure Jeremy has spoken for like the excited Heat fan right now. This is something that I've been begging for years, and I'm happy that it happened. I think it probably underscores some moves that they probably should have made earlier. Look, the Jimmy Butler acquisition was a great acquisition ultimately, but people forget Pat Riley had an opportunity to acquire Jimmy Butler before that. Didn't want to part with Josh Richardson at the time. Philadelphia got him, and that's another half season that could have played into a larger Heat window. And I think you look at some of the guys that Miami finally felt compelled to move. I think individually you could have gotten more for them and in separate deals, and you wouldn't have a roster that is as depleted right now. But it's not, again, I don't want to be the guy that's a party pooper when it comes to acquiring Giannis. Is like the guy that's been leading on the front lines. Please do something. They finally did something. They changed up this roster. We go into next season with something different, something exciting, a huge star to build around. It's a great day to be a Heat fan.
I don't believe there's any scenario, Mike, where Bill Zito does not have a clear-cut plan what they're going to do in goal. And by the way, I still think Bobrovsky's going to be back. Like, I know what Bobrovsky is asking for. Apparently, it's like a 5-6 year deal, and it's compared to like, hey, you know, is he going to get that Marchand treatment, you know, where at 38 years old, he still gets the 6 years. And here's a major difference. Like, Marchand, even if he drops off, he's a third-line player. You can move him to another line if you want. There are all kinds of different spots you can move an aging skater. When Bobrovsky is showing the age, you're not paying the guy. I mean, you're not playing him, and he's sitting on the bench, and he's being paid a ton of money. I don't think he's going to get the years that he's looking for. I think he's going to be back with the team.
Sergei Bababka.
It's your guess is as good as mine. I've heard
No, it's
that
better.
He's just he's asking for an insane amount of money, and if he's trying to command that much money, I think we go for someone younger. And there have been some interesting names out there, Bennington. Like I just think that you can replace Sergei Bobrovsky. I do hope that he stays because, you know, as a Florida Panthers fan, I do have loyalty to the guy. I thought he made some great all-time saves that are franchise changing. So we'll see. I have no doubt. I think Bill Zito has earned the trust.
Sergei Bababka.
The World Cup, Mike, you're at the middle. You're in Mexico, and what is the reason that you've decided to just immerse yourself here in all things World Cup and leave Miami, where there's plenty of World Cup immersing us? Because the streets here are crazy. It's everywhere,
So
and
much trash.
there is so much partying going on in our city, and yes, so much trash as well.
Yeah, I'm a little envious that the people of South Florida got to experience a Tartan Army, because I think in Miami, since it's my home, it doesn't really feel like a World Cup. It felt more like a World Cup when I went to New York and I was at the center of all those cultures combining. And this is going to sound really stupid to say, but it wasn't until I traveled to another country for the World Cup that I truly realized how massive an event this is. Like, when those players step onto the pitch, truly, like, most sport fans on the planet are watching a guy from Algeria step onto a Levi's Stadium pitch, and they're fully aware of, you know, Flo Balogun and Christian Pulisic. It's just everyone in the world celebrating one thing at the same time. I went to this place called La Minerva, which was like a central square here in Guadalajara that the Colombians just took over, and it was a huge pep rally. It was part Lollapalooza, part high school pep rally. People were getting thrown in the air, and it was just such an incredible, overwhelming sensation of culture and joy. The vibes are incredible, and I think Jeremy, being around the Tartan Army yesterday, would tell you it's just a largely positive thing. And I didn't know that I really needed such a positive experience in my life until I started undergoing it. You know, we have Morally Abhorrent. We've well chronicled the vibes headed into this tournament, but the people are the real stars here. And it's been pretty uplifting to see all the joy that has been attached to this event. I like I said, I had no idea how badly I needed this in my life. It's been great to experience the Colombian people, the Mexican people. We're going to experience some people from DR Congo. I'm really excited to see Lumumba in person. And I said it the last time I was on the show. I recommend, if I know the ticket prices are a lot for a lot of people, but if you're considering the sacrifice, do it, because this is the coolest thing I've ever done.
It's
in
not
sports.
it's not a lot when you can afford a hotel room that comes complete with a carport.
2 floors, baby.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, again, the exchange rate. This is basically a couple value meals.
This place has been unbelievable with these Scottish fans. The Tartan Army, like you mentioned it, Mike, the positivity that comes off of these people, it was such a joy to witness, and like, let alone the energy that they brought to the ballpark. First of all, out of the $5 beers at the ballpark before first pitch, these people were drinking like monsters. But even as they were drinking, there was nothing but like embrace of all of the Miami fans who hadn't met them before. I was fortunate enough to just be in the middle of it, meeting all of these people, and it's all just positivity. They all wanted to know more about the game.
They drank Boston Dry.
Dan, have you been around drunk people in Miami? It's not a lot of positivity.
They drank Boston Dry.
And the positivity was beautiful. It's awesome that they drank Boston Dry. I wore a kilt. It was spectacular. And people were embracing me in this amazing way, saying like, welcome to the Tartan Army. And to have that, to bring that energy and finish off with that 30 minutes later being Giannis trade news, this is like one of the most positive and incredible 16-hour stretches of my sports life. It was amazing.
people are largely good. And I think we've been watching cable television for so long that we've just soured on people as a whole because our leaders have kind of let us down. But that's been my main takeaway from this experience, from being in a bar with people rooting on Iran to being in a central square with children being tossed in the air and just absolute joy everywhere. Is people are just searching to have a good time together. And that's what this tournament, for all its failings and for all of its capitalism, has provided.
Can you tell us where you are with the Heat, okay? Because the Miami Heat are mad at me because of what I've allowed you to say without control on this show. You may have noticed that I did not have any Giannis information from any angle at any point because our show recently has not had the tone that the Heat would prefer when it comes to how it is that they are covered.
I mean, I feel like maybe they were upset about you allowing Mike to say those things, but it could also be the things that you do and say. And
Well,
like,
the Knicks,
had on an orange
the
wig.
Knicks costumes also did not go over.
Can't imagine it did.
Incredibly well either.
Coward.
But we are viewed as a largely pro-Miami Heat show, and when Dominique says there's access trading and some of the information trading that goes on, you should know that this show did not have any Giannis information beforehand because this show prides itself on its independence and was more critical than the Heat would have liked. So where are you now, Mike, on the fact that over the last 5 years, while you have been largely right, but they've also made 2 finals appearances, they now also have the whale?
Look, I don't doubt that the Heat are mad that someone's actually holding them accountable and saying how it's been for the last few years. And I think we're getting out of the window where we can say it's been 5 years since they made the finals. I think we all got to get over that. That core, that nucleus is pretty much gone. The Miami Heat have gone largely unchecked as a franchise here, and we've been a huge part of that. And I can understand why they don't like someone saying how it is. That's all right. We did have good Giannis news, though. We had some juicy industry gossip that we were right about Jaylen Brown being involved in that trade when everybody else was saying no. We just weren't getting it from the Miami Heat. And when I look back at the Damian Lillard stuff, good, because we were hugely annoying and we failed Miami by doing the Heat's bidding during that Damian Lillard pursuit. So and you could see kind of Boston replicate that almost blow for blow here. So it's just not a flattering look. So I'm glad we've kind of toned that down.
I think Dan and I both keep throwing up the opportunity as Mike Ryan, the leader.
We're going
of
the wrong way here.
Yep.
We got to go this way, not backwards. We got to go forwards, guys. Turn that thumb in this direction.
And so we are
they
now
got a lot
very
of work
excited.
to do. Look, I'm happy that they're happy, and I'm happy that they get the chance to
Hold
puff
on.
their chest.
You're happy
because
that
they got
they're
a star.
happy. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Yeah, they
good.
did what I wanted. What am I going to be an a-hole because they did exactly what I've been begging for a few seasons? No, I'm pumped. I want to see Giannis in person. I'm excited that we get out of this, mundane cycle that we've been in for the last 3 seasons. I'm curious to see how this all fits. I think they're going to be held to play against, and they got a shot, whereas before they didn't have a shot. So if I were them, I'd pump my chest out, especially if I was Pat Riley. Like, yeah, we finally got the whale. But you got the whale doing a deal that hurts, which has been the main criticism here. So if anything, I think all that stuff has been validated.
Yeah, but I would say that the Miami Heat fan base is incredibly spoiled. It's been a year between Jimmy Butler and Giannis, and I understand that last year of Jimmy Butler was messy, but it's been a year, and they did make the finals 2 times in the last 5-6 years. Like, we can be critical, but also we can be critical while incredibly spoiled, because this last year, while it was awful, does get the impatience to grow to a volume that is pretty unreasonable.
One thing Mike and I have agreed on always is that the intermediate trade was something that could have been done to improve that roster. The OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, we've gone through that. The reason they were able to land a star now is because not necessarily Pat Riley but the rest of the front office drafting as well as they did over the last few years, gaining guys in Kasparis Yakachonis and Khalil Ware with high ceilings in first-round picks in the middle of the first round. And so being able to do that alongside having Jaquez and Hero, this was a testament to the front office putting themselves in position to have valuable assets that didn't exist in these previous star pursuits, whether it was Damian Lillard or anybody else.
Yeah, and just to like close the point, like I hate it.
You know what that means, of course. Ramona Shelburn is with us. That's the alarm that signals her arrival. Go ahead and finish your point, Mike.
I think it's kind of a loser attitude to say that fans are spoiled. You know, back when Miami was struggling, the University of Miami was struggling, there was somebody in the athletic department that said, you have to look at us more like Vanderbilt. No, the standards are in place for a reason. The Miami Heat set the standard where it was. It's not okay that they've had the last few seasons. I think everybody in that building will tell you that to your face, while also lamenting the fact that people have held them accountable for failing to reach that standard. They want it both ways, the Miami Heat do, and I get it. They've had a lot of success, and there's a lot of ego in that building, and they just got Giannis, so more power to them. But we've been calling it right since they failed against Denver. They needed to do something drastically to improve this roster. It's been for okay. All right. It's a very effective tool. It's a very effective tool.
Please continue,
I'm
Mike.
going to.
That was me.
Please continue. Drink a lot of tequila.
Please continue, Mike.
Happy Giannis Day.
Please finish your point, Mike. Continue, please.
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Enjoy celebrating.
Good talking
Giannis.
soccer with you all.
See you later.
Have fun with the watermelon.
Ramona, thank
out
you
here.
for joining us. Your thoughts on the overnight activities of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat.
Well, Dan, you know, I've been going down to Miami a lot this year for some reason, and I was there in, I guess was it April or March? I think it was March, and I had flown to Florida to meet with Wes Edens and Jimmy Haslam. Okay, they were in Fort Lauderdale, the owners of the Bucks. I was doing a story, and I just thought it was weird that I was flying out to Miami to meet them, but okay. And then I flew back in April to interview Jaylen Brown. So I'm having a bit of a sliding doors moment myself, which is that I flew to Miami just recently for all of the people who were involved in this trade, and the Heat ended up getting Giannis. And it's like, it's kind of blowing my mind that they actually set their sights on this guy years ago. Like, you know how long they've been trying to get Giannis. They've been positioning for this summer for a long time, whether it be to have cap space or whether it be to have the assets. They've held on to their assets. They haven't gone all in on other trades so they could be in a spot like this. And I didn't know if they would get him. I thought the appeal of the Jaylen Brown offer was going to be hard for Milwaukee to pass up, because when you trade a guy like Giannis, who's going to come to your games now? Like who are your fans going to come and watch? They want to know that you're trading the greatest player in franchise history. Kareem played there a long time ago, so I'm just talking about current fans. You got to put butts in the seats, and when you trade a guy like Giannis, you want to see another star. Jaylen Brown's another star, so I thought that was gonna be too much for them to pass up, but you got to give the Bucks credit. They went for the stronger offer, the overall offer that gives them a lot more to work with here. And they're not going to be as good next year, right? It's hard to make a deal like that. And I just keep coming back to this Pat Riley. It's funny. He's like, I was here at his look at this was him like at the Laker statue unveiling just a couple months ago, and it felt like he had. And by the way, that is a Giannis bobblehead right there on my other shoulder or that shoulder.
Speaking of the Lakers,
Crazy,
though, Jeremy.
Right?
Yeah, speaking of the Lakers, I mean, Barry Jackson down here, Ramona, has said that LeBron James returning to Miami can't be ruled out. What are your thoughts there?
Look, I had talked to the Lakers earlier this week, where everybody's getting prepped for free agency in the draft, and they're allowed to talk to LeBron right now. And from what I understand, like LeBron hasn't even committed to next year yet, which, everything's a negotiation, right? I don't really believe he's going to retire, but we all have to have that in the back of our minds. But they haven't talked salary yet. We haven't talked about, if this would be a pay cut, or, it's not going to be 52 million like last year. So how is he going to digest if it's less, even if the Lakers can pay him a lot more than anybody else? LeBron, you guys had him for 4 years down there. How's he gonna digest that somebody would make him take a pay cut? I think that's hard, and everybody in LA sort of understood that this is going to be part of that negotiation. So, okay, Miami can't really pay him all that much. I mean, there's not a lot left, but if LeBron wants to win, and LeBron also needs, if he's going to, I think it's easier for him to break up with the Lakers than it is for the Lakers to break up with him, right? If you're gonna break up the Lakers, you got to have a story, right? There's got to be a reason for doing it. It can't just be because I don't want to take a pay cut or whatever it is. Miami's a good story. Cleveland would be a good story. I think Golden State would be a good story. So I wouldn't have said Miami until they did this last night, but those three teams make sense to me. I still think he's back in LA because they can pay him a lot more than anybody else. His son's on the team, but I wouldn't say never now. And that is really, I'm gonna just come back to his bobblehead here. Okay, I don't know if it's a bobblehead. It's a bronze statue. They gave it out when they
It's not a bobblehead. It's not. You're a words woman, and it's not a bobblehead.
It's something I put on my bobblehead shelf, but it's not a bobblehead. It is a bronze Pat Riley statue.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Ernie Johnson. How many teams in the league, off the top of your head, have at the top of their roster 2 players better than Bam and Giannis?
Ooh, it's a good question. Let me think about that. I mean, the team that just won has, I don't know, would you say, I don't know that I would say Jaylen Brunson's better than, well, he's better than Bam, okay? Giannis is a top 3 player in the league still. Everybody in the league, I don't know that you would have him, you wouldn't put Giannis above Wemby anymore. I think Wemby showed enough, but I don't think the second best player on the Spurs is as good as
If Tatum comes back.
Celtics, Nuggets, Lakers are your choices.
Well, is LeBron still in the Lakers? I mean, that's about it. If LeBron's still in the Lakers, I'd say Luka and LeBron. Yeah, and LeBron's still really good. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I would. Jamal Murray and Bam would be close. Jokic, Dan. You know Pat Riley. You've done this for a long time. When you have the star, everything falls into place. But I think this is really more about the fact that they wouldn't tank all those years, that they tried to stay competitive. I know everybody hated all those play-in tournament appearances, and it just feels kind of cheap to just keep getting in as the 9 or 10 seed and hoping you can catch some magic. But it matters because you were developing players, you were trying to win, you still had that Heat culture, you were still trying. When you full on tank, I think it kills your competitive spirit. I think it kills that culture. I haven't seen many people be able to obviously Oklahoma City's been able to do that. San Antonio did that for just a hot minute, but it takes a long time to shake off the losing. You can't just do it overnight. And I give the Heat a lot of credit. They stuck with it through these. I mean, what the hell kind of defense were they playing last year? They were just doing all this gimmick stuff. They've been trying to just, tread water, waiting for this star and keep their assets ready for this moment. And I give them credit for hanging in there, because not a lot of people would, not a lot of people would be able to stomach what they've had to go through, that mediocrity the last few years.
Ramona, thank you for making the time for us. We appreciate seeing you and always the information and the work. Thank you.
And now I come down to Miami for Giannis and not somebody else's interview. That'll be fun.
That's correct. Thank you. I do think, though, I know that Mike objects to spoiled, but you don't always get the superstars. Like, it's LeBron, Shaq, and Giannis. It's a
Yeah, we do, Dan. We do get to get the superstar.
We've
Dan.
done it over
We
and
do
over
get
again,
to get
Dan.
the
It's
superstar,
what we do.
Dan. Guess
That's what we do.
Giannis Antetokounmpo's here.
Antetokounmpo for 3.
What is the Nick Bobic?
It's it's a 60s song. The name game. Nick Bobic. Banana Bofic. Me, my Momic. Nick.
Rosanna, Babana, Rosanna, Babana, Rosanna, Babana.
I'm the kind of guy that Nick. Who made it the salad? Hey, Butterfinger. Who made it the salad? Nick Bobic. Who made it the salad? Georgia.
That's not correct.
Very good.
It's a parrot that says very good out of the side of its mouth.
That's correct.
What does this have to do with the name game?
I'm not going to take a quiz.
Rosanna, Babana,
Who made it the salad? Me, my Momic. Very good. Let's go States. We're rolling now, huh?
That's not correct.
Doesn't make it right. Don't go showering to try to please me.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on? Do you like
Dangling.
breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many, many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation.
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
SLPP.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
SLPP.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked.
Intimate.
Dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humped.
You never know.
I've been dry humped.
Many, many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
You ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about.
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
It's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
No.
But I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APAC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No. You're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's a few
That's
good
the one I
men,
bought.
and that's a few good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth. I
You can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
It's a different
Damn it.
movie. Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-lib.
Put it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in Dolphins.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
You already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And you're not man enough to handle the truth.
Right. Okay.
Classic line.
It's got a military theme to it. I just can't come up with a
It's
name.
not a military theme, but I think he's a former military guy.
Okay,
And-
He was a colonel.
There you go. Colonel Sanders. I don't know. I'm never going to get it. I don't know movies.
Wow, it's his only Academy Award.
The
Greg doesn't know
scent
movies.
of a
Woman. See? I told you I was going to get it.
Your son had no idea where that sound
Where I
was
get it
from.
from.
This is two generations of idiot. Pop
No.
culture idiot.
I knew it was Al Pacino.
Greg, you cannot listen to
said De
what you
Niro.
just did for the last 4 minutes and say that that is some sort of expertise that you're bragging about.
First of all, I speak for moviegoers in general. Al Pacino and De Niro are always interchangeable. They're always mistaken for each other. They're the same person.
De Niro could not have been the devil.
They've won the same awards. They're like the same people.
They were only in one scene together, like in their movie careers.
I know, but they're parallel lives. And you know it.
Put it on the poll. Do you often confuse De Niro and Pacino, and you know it? At Le
And you
Batard
know it.
Show.
You're going to have to wait for that one.
Exactly.
That was staggering. Even by the standards of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, where your son Michael asks you movie questions and you flail and fail and get them all wrong. Even by those standards, that was an amazing amount of ignorance.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's a good look for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary also.
I don't like... This isn't... Again, I might need a mean here. This isn't K-Fab. K-Fabe?
K-Fabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
Kayfabe,
Thank
wrestling
you.
nerd here at your service.
This isn't...
Zaz could have helped
Thanks,
there.
Mike Ryan. This isn't K-Fabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers. Are you ready to do your catchphrases? I heard there's some controversy around the. It's the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He is counting down his top 50 catchphrases of all time. It has been a successful months-long joke. What is the controversy surrounding your catchphrase list? What is the issue?
It's big. The controversy is that based on quality demand, the catchphrase countdown has suddenly increased from a top 50 to a top 60.
What?
That's
What?
right. And it's controversial.
Of course it is. You told us it was a top 50, and we told you. We told you it was. We told you it was something you were making up as you went along, and that you weren't going to get the numbers right. And now you just changed
He
it.
botched it to such a degree that there are so many good ones left that we're just pushing all
I
the
knew
current
that was
ones
going to
back.
happen. No, that's exactly what we were saying.
Your brain beating me.
How did this happen? What was the ruling? What did the committee get together and decide? How did it happen that it got expanded? Now, no one's going to complain about this because more catchphrases is great, but we told you this was going to happen, and we told you this was a sloppy list by you.
The others, they all learn from me.
Yeah, right.
No, I looked at all the catchphrases remaining, and there was only 14 left, but there were like 20-something good ones. So I'm like,
thank you.
Let's go.
So wait a minute. So how did you do it though? Are there now is there now a new list 50 to 60 or
No,
what are you doing?
everything that's been said is just like what was 50 is now 60.
Yes.
There were 14 left, and now there's 24
So we're
left.
not in the top 20
No,
anymore?
now we're at 23
we were
and
in the top
24.
20 of the countdown, and now we're at 24?
I'm telling you, they're bangers, though. They're just bangers
There
left.
is nobody that's actually upset about this development. Come on.
You've got to honor the list, though.
I'm telling you, I got a peek. I don't know the exact order, but I got a peek of what the top 10 looks like, and it is just banger after banger.
Yeah, Yeti hated it. He's against it.
Yeti thinks that we should just make him live with the world he gave
You
us.
should.
Like,
I mean, I
there's-
asked you several times throughout this whole process. Have you thought this out? Have you planned out the list? You know that there are 50. You kept assuring me that you have it all under control.
Driver comfort is paramount.
Wrong. You know, part of the beauty of me is a bit of serendipity, a bit of
You're the kind of guy.
unpredictability. And so the same is true with this list. Okay, whenever you do a countdown, Zaz, bank this information for your future. Whenever you do any sort of a countdown, controversy is good. You want somebody to say, that sucks, that should be lower, or that's, wow, I can't believe that's not higher.
So wait, so what used to be 50 is now 60.
Yes.
So we've gotten fraudulent rankings up to now. All the numerical rankings we've gotten up to now are all wrong.
He can give you the updated, like number 60, he can give you the update of whatever.
I know, but they're every previous incarnation of this that we have given the American public and internationally has been wrong.
I would say adjusted more than wrong.
Adjusted.
Maybe to Greg's credit, too, I've never heard of a top 60.
Thank you.
Well, how do we know it's not going to end up being 62 because he's going to think of two more on his way home because he didn't plan any of this
It
out?
would never be 62. It could bump to 65. It would never be a number like 62.
We would obviously go in fives, Dan.
Here's also the thing. This is a big question of mine. So you have left 10 out, which is why you are expanding it from 50 to 60. But the 10 that you left out are automatically like they're in
They're
the
top
top
24.
23. You're saying top 24.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he left bangers out.
Right.
This had to be done, guys.
Yeah, it had to be done, like he says.
Again, it doesn't have to be done if you're dealing with a responsible person who plans it
That's
at the
true.
beginning, as opposed to just making everything up as he goes along.
No, listen, and we're in the sports business. We should know this better than anybody. Rankings always change. When I was born, everybody agreed Babe Ruth, greatest player ever. Not so much now. Rankings
That was when I was
change.
growing up. It was a hot debate. Everyone agreed, though. Babe Ruth, that young kid's got a future.
It was an argument back then on sports radio. Tris Speaker or Babe
Yeah,
Ruth?
that's right. Lou Gehrig was in play.
Just
as well.
telegram in your thoughts.
I have to go back to Chris Cody here because I'm not sure that I knew this. I have to go back. So you're married to an identical twin.
That's right.
Okay, I have questions.
Go on.
First,
Not too many questions.
well, I know your father's sitting right next to me. It's a little weird. Okay, so first question.
No wonder they're into swinging at that house.
Were you always able to tell them apart?
Not at the beginning when we were just dating. Her sister has like a beauty mark on her face, so I was like, mine's the one without that.
Okay. My next question is, a lot of times, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you think my sister's attractive, don't you? You clearly think her sister's attractive.
That's right. Undeniable.
If you think your wife's hot, you think her sister is hot.
My sister-in-law's hot.
That's
There, I
crazy,
said it.
right?
I've never said that to her before.
No, you got to say that, though.
Juju will be with us here in a second to update the polls. Got a number of things that I want to get to before we get out of here for the day. Chris, can you please come in here and assemble and put together for the end of today's show the raising of our championship banner today on a championship Tuesday? The best day when no games are being played around Heat basketball since those three players came up on a platform and rose up, Chris Bosh, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and seemed to signal to everyone the winning of a championship before a game had been played. Today felt a little bit like this, and I caution all of you, I really think that people are sleeping when they think of the idea that this is a team being built for next year, like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. They're going to build it to win a championship next year. Like, that's what they're going to try to do. Pat Riley's not doing 2 and 3 and 4 year plans. He's going to try and win the championship next year. And I think that the idea of a slow, patient process on this is not what they're doing. It's real all or nothing stuff on we intend to win because New York just won and we're fighting with Boston at the top of the conference. I also want to get to some video because we are neither topical nor timely. Jeremy, when he had a whole film crew with him earlier, said you wouldn't believe what happened after we stopped and weren't on live anymore. He said something good happened where a fan showed up, but we didn't catch it on camera. So let's play it now 3 hours later.
Kendall, good work. I stopped here to tell you this.
Dude.
We are freak.
Yeah, I love that. Jay?
Yeah, Jay, listen.
My man.
It's been 10 plus years, and this is what we get.
All
right?
Jay, I love you, man. That's awesome. Where are you going to work?
I'm at the Coast Guard, baby.
My man, thank you. And thank you for your service. I'm going to bring your name up on this right now. Jay from the Coast Guard. My man.
Would have been good 2 or 3 hours ago.
But thank you, Jay, for your service.
Speaking of which, thank you not at all,
My
Jeremy,
man.
for yours. And also, speaking of not topical and not timely, here's a mean video from the Knicks parade.
We're headed up to the security checkpoint. We'll see what's going to happen here. Will they allow us with all our gear, or is this as far as we go? I'm about to be the one to bust my ass right now. Hold on. We made it inside. I'll be honest with you. Sean's got a backpack that will get flagged anywhere, any security situation around the world. It looked like wires and timers and stuff. I was like, oh my God, I don't know him. She was just like, hey, just have him hold your backpack as you walked in. I was like, really? And we're in. You can see the crowd is already crazy.
My girlfriend cheated. My dad got deported. But we champions!
The Celtics. Knicks in 5, bitch.
What about Trae Young?
Trae Young, too. It's about time.
So this guy right here literally just walked up and said, what's happening here? Can you imagine not knowing, like, I'm not saying you got to be a Knicks fan or you got to be all in it, but like to literally be like, why is there so much traffic? Did you buy this or have you had this since Jeremy Lin was playing for the Knicks?
I've had this since I was like 10 years old. Linsanity, dude. Jeremy Lin rocks.
Now that guy's got a view. That guy's got a view. What up? You can't tell me there's not at least 3 million people here. Look at this. On top of the cop car, man. It's a cop van. What's up, bro? What's up, man? How you doing? I've never seen New York this happy and this nice and friendly. I feel like I fell into a bizarro version of New York. Everyone's nice, even the cops.
What are you laughing about?
So much. What up?
Yo, what up? Good to see you.
Hey, I'm in the house, baby.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Amin. No big deal.
See you. What up? Give me 5. You want a picture right now? No? Selfie?
Sean, put the camera back on. Say it again.
What up?
Jeremy and him both did that.
Oh, no, Jeremy did a my man. I love, please clip that. For tomorrow's
What is it,
show.
Jay?
Yeah,
my man.
For
Yeah, you really
tomorrow's
made
show,
sure that guy knew he was your man.
I need that. I
Yeah.
don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow, but I know it's gonna
Thank
be
you, Jay.
drenched in my man.
That's my man.
What Amin did would have been better a week ago. And Chris, can you get in here and start our ceremony? We are going to unfurl a Championship Tuesday banner here, but Juju is here to update the polls. And also, Juju, do you have a top 5 list for us today?
Oh, yeah, man. I got a top 5 potential free agents that might be 5 for y'all boys to look out for. You dig it?
Oh, all
First
right.
off, oh, well, lie. Kobe White. My boy cut the fro off. He looking like heat culture. Probably smelling like it. Nextly, I don't know how bad y'all want him, but Chris Middleton. He out there for you. If you want him, probably for the LO. Salute to Shawty Low. Another OLI, Anthony Simons.
God, he's good.
Those are going to be
Very
expensive,
good.
though. You're not going to get White and Simons that cheap, are you? Like those, you're
Maybe
not.
not. You just got to keep an eye on them, brother.
right.
I'm not saying you're going to get them. You just keep one of your eyes on them.
All right.
You feel me?
All right.
Next, Tim Hardaway Jr., also OLI. You know what I'm saying? We like the boy down here. But number 5, starting off the real deal list, Quentin Grimes. Very good with the Sixers this year. Aggressive, and he got exactly what y'all boys looking for. Check out my boy. Number 4, the best shooter in the world, like Tony said, Luke Kennard.
Not my take. Stan Van Gundy said that, and then Dan sent me a picture or video of Luke Kennard hitting the side of the backboard against Houston.
Hello.
He said he was better than Steph Curry as a shooter.
Clanked against the side of the backboard on a
Number 3, the man, not the myth, Landry Shamet. NBA champion. Got to know. Number 2, LeBron James. Keep an eye out for my boy expeditiously. And the number 1 free agent y'all boys need to keep y'all eye on, Big T.A. Thanasis Antetokounmpo in the Heat uniform.
He is a free agent. Chris, keep working on the unfurling of that banner. Don't do it yet, though. Don't do it yet, because we've got to update the polls, and we got to give Juju a second here to get all of the polls in order. Don't do it yet. I heard something break. Was that your femur? What was it that just? What is it that I just?
I'm gonna plug this back in.
Okay, be careful, please. Don't electrocute yourself. The big close to the show today will be the unfurling of the Miami Heat's Championship Tuesday banner. Let's go ahead and update the polls, Juju.
Good angle for me.
Did you know that the fine for littering in Miami Beach is $1,500 for the first offense? 86% of the audience says no, they did not.
Family.
Does Ernie Johnson still live in black and white? Confusing for people who ain't watching the show. 81% of the audience says yes, my boy does.
Family.
I also like to just make the announcement. I am officially washed. As a Celtics fan, I'm washed. I spent last week hugging, damn near crying with my homeboy who's been a Knicks fan his whole life, my boy Mike. Salute. I'm talking about I was tearing up, so happy for him. And then last night when the Giannis thing happened, the first person I thought of was my brother Zaslow. I was like, just tell them, Zaslow, they've been wrong as hell all week, and I'm just rooting for y'all. So I might be the lamest Celtics fan in the history of the world.
My man.
Neither here nor there.
You're welcome on the bandwagon, my man.
Do actors prefer to play the hero or the villain? 66% of the audience says the villain. And
Family.
last poll, F. Boston. 90% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
Family.
Thank you. And on that note, let's turn the lights down so that we could do this video appropriately. We will again tell the audio audience that if you wish to see this, YouTube, Le Batard and Friends is where you want to go. You want to have a video accompaniment to this big
At Le Batard
ceremony. Yes, thank you. At Le Batard Show. Let's all enjoy what is this Championship Tuesday, where we won these 12 hours. Right before, we didn't even talk about the NBA draft, which is tonight, but these 12 hours Let's go ahead and turn off the lights here, and let's go dark here on YouTube Live as we unfurl our banner.
At last.
Yes, there it is. At last. Way to go, Chris. A lovely banner there. Miami defeats Boston on the only Tuesday that matters, a Tuesday in June.
Tuesday title, baby. We got a Tuesday title, my man.
Lovely crew.
The Cup is taking over the U.S., and only DraftKings Sports has you fully covered. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states, giving you access to every market and keeping you in on the excitement at the speed of sports. New DraftKings customers, sign up with code DAN, spend $5, and get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code DAN. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
See y'all. Never.